Oof. Starting a little late today. Listening to Vosh's most recent video. On how PragerU oddly tried to do like a anti-trans documentary, but it turned out to be kind of like pro-trans. Because their main subject in it was a person who was on hormones for like testosterone for 5 years, and then after stopping testosterone, they were, able to get pregnant. Which really helps to highlight how, yeah, some parts of taking hormones are gonna change your body, like, but it's not as drastic as they try to make it seem. And also that person after detransitioning say that they're basically they still feel dysphoria, and the only thing is Jesus. So you can kind of see where that logic is coming from there. I feel like the lights look extra weird today. Kind of a vibe though. Anyways, let's start with some food stuff.
We've come to Las Vegas to try this city's cheapest buffet. Take a look at this super crazy thin piece of skin and their most expensive buffet. I gotta tell you, this is the most beautiful lobster tail I've seen at any buffet ever in my life. But first, let's back up. Las Vegas, it's really expensive. If you want affordable eats, you have to know where to go. This is also a city famous for its buffets, especially seafood buffets. I think because of all the money that is lost through gambling, the casinos have a little bit extra dough that they can spend on sweet buffets. Buffets that you might not be able to try in your normal podunk town. Today, I want to start with the
America's
cheapest.
so fucking depressing. Look at how depressing this road is. This makes me want to Kermit. I hate it.
Buffet we could find here in Las Vegas. Let's move. Right behind me, nestled into this little strip mall, you can see our first location, Cuisine ni Lorraine Buffet, all you can eat. This buffet here behind me is only $17.99 plus tax. This day and age, $17.99, that's pretty affordable pretty much anywhere you go. In Las Vegas, it's especially affordable, but this isn't any average food. This is Filipino food. Right now, we're gonna head inside and check out what kind of food they're offering here. So not only is this a buffet, but they also have a Filipino market. Let's take a look.
The most Filipino market I've ever seen.
Let's see if I recognize anything in here. Coconut gel. This is for making the Philippines' most famous dessert, halo halo. I might buy this one. Canned quail eggs. Looks like it maybe came not from the Philippines though. Came from China. Oh, this I like. Coconut milk. Perfect if you're making kare kare. I believe that is at the buffet. Just kidding, I know it is. I saw the buffet already. Every video you see is a lie. This is really the Filipino stuff right here. Oftentimes when you eat street food in the Philippines, there won't be a side of ketchup. There will be this. It's basically banana ketchup. Very cool. All right, let's go check out the buffet. I'm inside the buffet area.
Like
this is Del, the manager here. We're gonna go through the food and see what I remember from my travels to the Philippines. Let's start with the carbohydrate section. We have the fried noodles here.
Oh, that looks fire. Let's go.
That's the pancit.
Because it sits in a pan when you cook it.
Correct.
What's that?
That one is chicken skin.
This is what I'm saying. Go to Caesar's Palace, go to the Bellagio, to their buffets. Are you gonna...
I mean, it's like more of like an East Coast thing, I feel like. I feel like there's not like a lot of that. Like, more West you get. There are some in California that I've seen, but I don't really feel like they're that common comparatively. Because like the whole like butcher shop, cafe type deal, the style where they serve food, but they also it's like grocery store kind of like a market. Seems like way more East Coast. They're instant, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's like probably the most common one in California is like the Mexican bodega. There's a lot of Vietnamese ones too, and Filipino. Also, especially if you're going like to San Francisco. There's a lot there too. But yeah, like I there's probably some in Texas where I am, but I mean, not a common occurrence.
Get fried chicken skin? I don't think so. Right here, this looks like the dessert section.
Correct. That one is banana fritters.
So banana inside,
good.
it comes in a wrapper, and then the whole thing is
Oh,
fried,
so-
and it's kind of glazed in sugar.
Yeah, with jackfruit too.
Right here, we're headed to the hot area.
It's still pretty expensive, but I guess not for a buffet. Like $18.
What is this one right
All
here?
of that?
That one is pork chops.
This looks like kare kare,
Correct.
which uses plenty of coconut milk, right?
No, it has like peanut butter sauce. No.
Oh, this I like. Coconut milk, perfect if you're making kare kare. All right, editor, I'm glad I checked. On this side, this is dinuguan. There's a couple things that are special about dinuguan. One is that it's a lot of the internal organs, intestines, but it's also mixed with the animal's blood. Is it pork blood?
Yeah, it is pork
You
blood.
can buy pork blood in the USA?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Finally, at the end here, we have the
I really respect cooking that uses all of the animal. We're so like uptight about shit. I mean, I probably wouldn't eat it, but I'm just saying. That's because I have like really weird ick. Wait, am I not logged in? What the fuck? Turn off my computer and it just gets rid of all my settings. But my chatterino means I can't ban anybody. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Now we're back. Needed to have that authority.
condiments. We have the typical stuff, soy sauce, fish sauce. Then right here, I want to take this one home probably. This is garlic vinegar. But the most extreme condiment they have here is this. This is known as bagoong. This is fermented shrimp. What should I eat the bagoong with?
That one is good for the kare-kare.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. That is the tour. Let's eat some food. I'm gonna start with this pancit. It looks
I
incredible.
want these noodles so badly right now.
And then I have to get some chicken skin too. Ooh, that's gonna go right through me. Sorry, too many details. Next, I have to try this kare kare. Ooh, get some veggies for color. Oh, we've got some eggplant right here. It looks like some stomach, some tripe. And of course, with the kare kare, we need to have bagoong, that intensely fermented shrimp paste. This stuff is intense. Super
do you
salty,
mean?
super fermented. That's probably too much. All right, we've got our first plate. Let's go eat. Folks, for $17.99, we have our first course
Are
right.
they playing his videos in the background? Stop it.
That's probably too much. All right, we've got our first plate. Let's go eat. Folks, for
Mike. They might have edited that in just like, because like maybe something on the TV was like, you know, copyright.
$17.99, we have our first course right here. First of all, this stuff looks awesome. Cheers.
Look at that noodles.
Yeah, that hits the spot. It's salty in the best way. Definitely plenty of oil in there too. Oh, look at this chicken skin. This thing is huge. Masarap.
I feel like that would destroy your mouth.
Finally, here we have the kare kare. It's full of veggies, eggplant, and green beans. I love that peanut butter flavor in there. But here, there are some unusual meats. I believe this is beef tripe or cow stomach. I'm gonna hit it with some of that bagoong. Before I take this bite, I can tell you, no other buffet in town is gonna have fermented shrimp paste. Wow. It was a hair too much, crazy salty, and that tripe is really
Spicy.
gummy because it's been boiled or braised for so long. But I gotta say, pretty good flavor overall. This is just plate number one, but right now I'm gonna go into the kitchen
I want those noodles.
because I've been told by Jell
Noodle
that there is a
version.
special surprise for me waiting in there. Let's go see what that is. And we are walking into the kitchen to see a preparation of a familiar food that I've never seen before. Come take a look. Right here, inside this giant oven, there is a
This made myself really sad. I don't know why I did that. I was just thinking about, like, my dog kind of looks like this because it's a corgi. Why did I do that to myself? I'm gonna skip this part. Just because I made myself really sad there.
pig parts in there. It's like a pudding. Right here we have the pork hocks. 2 generous portions here. And I think I might fill a cup up with this stock right here because it just smells so good. We have our second course. Let's go eat. We're gonna start with the fried rice. I see pieces of egg too.
That's boring.
Oh, it's not egg. This is garlic fried rice. Filipinos make the best garlic fried rice. Next, the pork hocks. They've been braising for so long that they've become kind of gummy and they just peel right off the bone. It smells like Chinese 5-spice. Let's try it out. That's legit delicious. Slightly firm, but mostly gelatinous. It's sweet. It has a deep
Not my vibe.
savoriness to it. It's like a sticky, porky glaze on the outside. It smelled so good. I got a little container of the pork foot jus. You know when you get a massage, a foot massage, and they make you wash your feet first? That's what my foot water looks like afterwards. Same thing with the pig. Wow, super savory, salty, full of collagen. Finally,
I might actually like that, but I don't know why I'm getting grossed out by that.
we have this right here. This is dinuguan.
Being judgmental.
It's definitely bloody, but you taste a lot of savoriness and then a hit of vinegar. It's really sour. I wouldn't necessarily pile a mountain of this on my plate, but if you're switching between different foods, it's nice to switch it up. That lechon should be cooled down by now. Let's go take a look. It's been a few minutes.
Made me sad. I do that to myself. Skipping it.
That's awesome. It's a perfect combination. It's not just skin, it's skin and a little bit of fat and a little bit of protein too, all mixed together. I'm gonna hit it now with the garlic vinegar.
Garlic vinegar is really fire. Hey, thank you for the gifty to Drow. Thank you so much.
When it's cooked this way, maybe the skin is 20% less crispy, but the meat is 50% more soft. The skin
But his hands being so wet or
and the pork, they're so heavy that the vinegar kind of cuts through that heaviness and offers a new dimension of flavor. Very satisfying. Next, we're gonna go to a buffet that costs about 5 times this much. We're headed there now. And we have come to our second location, right behind me, the M Resort, inside Anthony's Prime Steak and Seafood. Today is Sunday, it is a brunch buffet. It is the most expensive buffet here and certainly one of the most expensive in the city, coming in at $99. How did they get to that price? Is it worth it? Let's go inside and find out. It is 10:30 right now. This place opens up at 11. They've allowed us to come in early so we can film the food before all these animals come here and destroy it. Animals like me.
I feel like no buffet is worth $99 because, like, how much food are you really gonna be eating? Like, unless you're like, I don't know, like a fucking football player or some shit. Kind of mid, yeah. I mean, it's good, but it's like,
First of all, we have more traditional breakfast stuff
more fucking Canadian.
here, and the Eggman right here. We have French toast. We have breakfast meats right here. I love this. This is Eggs Benedict with hollandaise.
I love Eggs Benedict. I always feel like the cuts of, like, the ham is always too thick, though. I know it's, like, part of it. Like, it's supposed to be thick, but the thing I don't like about it is that it's too thick.
Sauce, and then potatoes. They're breakfast potatoes. I'm here with Tony, the manager of Anthony's Prime
Yeah, it's like a workout.
Steak and Seafood Restaurant. It is a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Las Vegas is obviously famous for its buffets. We came here because it's one of the most expensive, $99. How do we get there?
So we have the best items pretty much you find in any buffets. All you can eat lobsters, all you can eat crab legs, plus jumbo shrimp. And we go to our meat station. We got prime rib, we got the lamb chops, and we got the
These
beef.
buffets have to waste so much food. Like, there's no way it doesn't. Like,
Wellington.
I had beef Wellington when I was at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. I had the personalized version there. Here is the much bigger version. This is for a whole family or one really fat guy. Right here we have a bunch of Italian offerings and they smell and look delicious. If people try to make a reservation here, how far are you booked out at this point?
Fortunately, as we speak, we are sold out till next year of May of 2024. We started it this year in May. It went viral on social media and people enjoyed the buffet and we had a great feedbacks.
What would you say are the most expensive items on your menu here?
The most expensive, I'll be honest with you, is the lobster because that's our #1 item.
I gotta tell you, this is the most beautiful lobster tail I've seen at any buffet ever in my life. These look stunning, and evidently I think you could just pile them up on your plate. That's what I plan to do. Some people, they come to a
Those look
buffet and
good.
they're like, I'm gonna beat the buffet. I'm spending 99 bucks. I'm gonna get my money back. What do they go for?
You will have people, they come in just for the seafood only to make sure that $99, they get their money back.
I plan just to have eggs and toast.
You sure?
This right here is the sushi. We've got tuna, shrimp, yellowtail. On this side, even more seafoods. We have giant jumbo shrimp, we have crab legs, and we have a different kind of crab legs. Alas, finally, we have our dessert section right here, but it's gonna be a while before I get to that because I got a lot of seafood to eat. It is 10:57, 3 minutes until game time, baby. Let's do this. All right, it's 10:59. I'm starting early. Here's the thing, I got a leg up on everybody because I know where all the good food is. Starting with the lobster. I'm gonna get one also for my wife. All right, I'm gonna get some yellowtail here and a couple tunas. Our first plate is
like
full.
there's not
Let's
enough,
go eat. First of all, I've got the
sushi.
yellowtail right here. Put the fish in the soy sauce and throw it back. Delicious. Usually if I go to a buffet and they have sushi, I skip the sushi. But here, they've got big fat pieces of fish on here. Look at that rice to fish ratio. Delicious. Throw back a little bit of grape juice. That may or may not be fermented. And let's get to these lobster tails. This is like a very American preparation. If you were in Vietnam, they'd probably cut it in half, put cheese on it. Here they cut the shell down the middle and they pull the meat up. So it creates this illusion that there's meat up here and down here. But the reality is the bottom is actually empty and you can just so easily pull it out. And I've got this big, beautiful piece of lobster tail. Try it out.
Wow, he's not gonna dip it in butter? Like that's like 90% of eating seafood is just wanting to, or at least lobster, just wanting to have an excuse to just eat straight butter.
It's just so buttery, garlicky, and delicious.
Oh, they already buttered it up.
Oh my God, eat 5 of these, eat 10 of these. It would not be hard to
My
get.
eczema's really fucking acting up today. One sec. Getting so much better. And then I stopped using cream for it, and I feel like it's gotten worse now. Ugh, like it didn't used to be itchy. Right here, it itches so much right now. I think it's because I was fucking with it the other day. I have like a issue with like skin picking. So obviously having eczema is like the worst, because just like want to peel all of the little scales off, but you shouldn't do that. Don't do that. It's bad for your skin.
Get your money back if that was your goal at this buffet. So that was a very fast round 1, a big success. Let's go get some more. All right, we had a taste of the ocean. Now we're heading to land. Hi there, could I have some lamb chops? Look how succulent they look. Pink in the middle. Thank you. Just gonna cut up this prime beef, get a nice big old slab, throw that on board. Oh my God, just
How
that
do
is
you
a
eat so
dinner in
much?
itself. And 1 beef Wellington. That looks excellent, sir. Boom. Course 2, red meat. Let's start with the lamb. These are cooled down a little bit because I spent 10 minutes getting beautiful modeling shots of them. But see that crust on the outside? This is quality stuff right here. Let's try it out. I need a moment of silence. What the heck? That's some of the
scared the
best
shit out of
lamb
me.
I've.
We have a pergola, and the way that the sun's positioned, there was a squirrel that ran across the pergola, but it looked like it was like right outside my window. That really freaked me out.
Ever had in my life. It's tender, it's succulent, it's soft, it's dripping with goodness. I feel like a chef in the kitchen sold his soul to the devil to get the recipe for this. Right here we have the prime beef. Let's see if it passes the fork test. If forking does not. Well, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's bad. Oh, this is a nice piece right here. My wife's mouth is literally watering. People say, hey, do you ever let your wife eat? No, we're here to do work. Okay? It's a joke. Calm down. I was told to put horseradish on the prime beef. Oh, now I feel it up into my brain. Oh, the beef is absolutely delicious. When you pair that with the horseradish, it's an unstoppable combination. It is so delicious. Seasoned to perfection. These guys really know what they're doing. But the ultimate test is right here. The beef Wellington is a piece of beef cooked, wrapped in a puff pastry. Am I eating a beef? Am I eating a pastry? It's basically a pastry. Every bakery should have this. And they should have it with this beignet sauce.
Beignet? What's beignet sauce?
It's incredible. I'm trying to compare it to the one that I had already at Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen restaurant. Here, it's bigger. The texture is a little bit different. The pastry is more crunchy because it's a little bit thicker, and that sauce, incredible paired with that meat. This is course 2. I got 1 more in me. Let's keep moving. All right, enough with the land animals. We're going back to the ocean. Right here, we have some of the biggest jumbo shrimp I've ever seen in my life. And then they have 2 different types of crab. I believe this is snow or Dungeness crab. And then they have this one called
Joni crab.
I've never heard of Jonas crab in my life. Let's get 4 of these
Jonas
claws.
crab?
I think we're good here. We should go. All right, folks, we have our last course right here. This is a seafood medley. We're gonna start with the shrimp. Gonna hit that in a little bit of cocktail sauce. So simple, yet so
yeah.
perfect. Cheers.
I love cocktail sauce. This lady's just like staring.
This is my first taste today of chilled seafood. It changes the texture, it's still delicious. From here we have the Alaskan crab. I'm gonna break this open. Can you imagine if you want to, you could just go up and get this crab for 3 hours in a row. Legally, they cannot stop you. Get the tendon out, break the quadricep. Oh, there you go. Just shimmy it out, be
I don't
careful.
know he's doing this with bare hands. I feel like it always hurts my hands to do this, but I got delicate hands, I guess. I don't know.
Be gentle, be patient. A beautiful, chilled Alaskan crab quadricep. Lovely, naturally sweet, delicious, cold, juicy. From here, a crab I've never even heard of before. This is a Jonas crab, I believe she said. What I really care about is what's in here, the claw meat. Break this in half? I mean, guys, are you kidding me? I'm gonna get gout tonight. Imagine you go to Vegas, people ask how it was. You're like, yeah, I got a disease. And you're like, oh no, what happened? Lady of the night? No, I got gout. Yeah. And I chipped a tooth. Oh, there's still tendon in there. It is sweet, it is very firm, it's dense, it's flaky, it's delicious.
Didn't you just say
From here,
seafood was
I'm gonna
mid?
finish all this seafood and I'm gonna have 10 to 15 desserts. I'm gonna do that off camera. But what I'm gonna do next with you is tell you which buffet today gave me the most bang for my buck. Let's go to the parking lot and find out. Boom! Guys, that is the end of me trying 2 different buffets at 2 different price points. Did you want a middle buffet? I'm not doing it. I'm so full I'm gonna die. I liked both buffets a lot. They both have a lot of redeeming qualities, but I have to pick just one that I think gave me the most bang for my buckaroos. So, which one is that? It was the expensive buffet. I'm sorry. I love the Filipino buffet. An incredible value for $17.99. But this is some of the best quality buffet food I've ever had in my life. I had a great time, and the service very nice too. And here's the thing: it's not $1,000. It's $100. It's still something the average person could save up for. It's like a good celebration.
Yeah, but it'd take a year out, I guess.
Meal for a birthday, anniversary. You
What the fuck? It's a bagel tree.
just bought a new house. You just lost your house to the bank. Whatever you need to celebrate, come here. Or, you know, go to the Filipino one too. Otherwise, guys, that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Peace. Oh my God, I swear I ate at least $300 of seafood. I think I owe money. I think I owe more money. That's ridiculous.
If you love Indian
We have another one from him, and then we'll get into our main thing. Oops. I do that. Do this.
in this video, we're taking on Mediterranean seafood cooked up Lebanese style.
I like that they have kind of a crust on the outside, and then they put their own sauce on here.
And it's poisonous, you know that.
Not anymore, I hope.
But first, let's back up.
Venomous, not poisonous. God.
Lebanon is a small country of only about 4,000 square miles. That is smaller than Delaware.
You know the population here?
Approximately 6 million, and 1/4 of it is refugees, actually.
But the country does boast 140 miles of coastline along the iconic Mediterranean Sea. This body of water, shared by 22 countries, is a vital provider of life, especially seafood, which is a major part of the local diet.
The seafood is very popular in Lebanon, and there are too many kinds of fish.
Today, I'm on a mission to see how the Middle East treats snails.
I've had snails in Vietnam and in France, but this will be my first time having them anywhere else.
Sea urchins.
Look at this. These eggs are just bright and beautiful.
And one of the world's most venomous fish.
Have you ever been stabbed by one of these fish?
Yes, this finger was totally black.
It all starts early morning at the fish auction. The air carries a heady blend of pungent yet alluring seafood aroma. The ground swarms with hundreds of shoppers bargaining for the juiciest deals.
The most
At 5 a.m.,
the most Lebanese thing. Just people yelling. Why is there a stormtrooper here? What the fuck?
you won't find this scene anywhere else other than Beirut's biggest fish auction.
Restaurants come here, traders come here, and normal people also come here to bring
I thought he was saying scum.
their food.
Meet Omar, my guide for the day. He's a seasoned television presenter and
what's up,
food show host. So he has all the qualifications to host my show, while I battle with my snooze button back at the hotel.
The fisherman brings the fish to a certain gentleman here that works in the auction here. He starts yelling and shouting about the price of the fish and the kind of the fish. And the hungermen gather around and they start giving a price as a traditional auction that happens everywhere in the world.
The Beirut Fish Market kicks off daily at 2 a.m. with over 5,000 tons of seafood from across Lebanon put on display.
This guy just bought 15 kilos for $3 of sardine.
By 8 a.m., it's a clean sweep. Vendors tally up their fortunes, while shoppers head to their restaurants to start their day.
How was the market?
Oh, the market was noisy, a little bad smell, a little bit of a big bad smell,
Okay.
but the scene was beautiful.
I wish I could join you, but I had to do a thing.
Fully awakened and refreshed, I join Omar for breakfast.
What does Israeli money look like? Israel money. Well, that's not what I meant. Oh, it looks more like pounds, I guess. Lebanon. It's kind of like Monopoly. Yeah, I saw this. It's like pretty. It's so crazy they like the number value or whatever.
At a 30-year-old
Well, I know Canadian money you can like wash in the laundry. Isn't that like what you brag about? And it's got that like weird see-through part. Or is that Australian money? No, yeah, you're the one with the weird see-through part. Kind of a vibe, I guess. But you also are cucked to the queen, so that's also a big L for you, so whatever.
classic street side joint. Freddie, the owner and maestro of the kitchen, hooks us up with lionfish, snatched fresh from the auction.
Now, I've covered the lionfish before when we were in Jamaica. You know, they're an invasive species around that area in those waters.
They're very aggressive and they feed on young fish on the reef, and once they come off, the reef is basically dead.
Is this also invasive in the Mediterranean?
Yeah.
These tropical creatures
They're like invasive. I think there's a big issue with them in Florida too.
have created a nightmare in the North Atlantic waters for half a century.
International organizations are always demanding and telling people eat this fish, but people didn't buy it at first. The fishermen were afraid. Oh,
He's so not happy to be there.
people eat this fish, but people didn't buy it at first. The fishermen were afraid. Oh, it's freaky. Now it's better, and by the way, it's delicious.
Can we give it a try?
Yeah, of course.
First, our chef cleans the fish and removes its spiky fins. Mind you, a single poke from these venomous prongs is still enough to send you to the emergency room. So do be careful. Next, lightly coat the fish with flour, then throw them on the flat top. While the fish are sizzling away, the chef prepares a sauce made from coriander, red chilies, a secret mix of spices, tomato paste, and soy sauce.
Oh, you have them?
Dilute the mixture with water and pour it on the steaming
They're
flat
everywhere.
top.
Does it look like the Jamaican fish?
No, it looks a bit different, but it does look quite delicious. I like that they have kind of a crust on the outside, and then they put their own sauce on here. Oh my God, it's already steaming. There are a lot of bones and ribs that you have to be careful for, but if you can finesse your way around that, you'll be good.
And it's poisonous, you know that.
Not anymore, I hope.
No, not
Unless you
anymore.
added something to the recipe. Cheers.
It's good. Yeah. Oh, watch out. One of the things that people don't buy it a lot because of the bones. Here in Lebanon, people like the filet.
Of course, it's easier, way easier. But I gotta say, it is a very delicate, white, flaky fish. It has a nice flavor, a very clean flavor, and then it really is kind of a canvas to put.
Yeah, you really were right when you said it's too much work. Like boned fish is like probably incredibly fucking annoying. I don't eat a lot of fish, so.
Whatever seasonings you want on there, and the spices you put on here are delicious. A little sour, salty, a little bit of spice, and I love it because the fish tastes familiar, but the way it's been prepared feels very Lebanese.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious, from all over Lebanon, how prevalent is seafood in Lebanese cuisine?
Seafood is very popular in Lebanon. There are too many kinds of fish.
Lebanon's fishing industry has long been pivotal to the nation's economy, culture, and food security.
The Lebanese, they organize their week. A day for chicken, a day for meat, and a day for fish. But here, there is a problem in the Lebanese sea.
The fish are getting a lot of lower, and until they are gone.
On a mission to uncover Lebanon's most distinct seafood dishes,
This is the best dish I've had so far in Lebanon.
and to learn more about what may be the end of seafood in this country,
So what does the
Didn't mean to do that.
future hold for people like you who are independent fishermen?
we head to Batroun, a coastal haven.
Bathroom.
Here, we rendezvous with one of Lebanon's oldest fishermen.
Ahoy!
All meet the best fisherman in town, to fish.
Is this his usual uniform?
Yeah, I asked him before, try to wear a shirt or something for the mic. He told me, no, this is my costume.
At 78 years of age, he's still going out fishing twice a day, once before dawn and once after dusk.
This morning, you went out fishing. Was today a good day?
It's not a very good amount, but thanks God.
It's not great, but he's grateful.
Yeah.
He's gonna reveal it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty good. I see some things that are familiar. Could you pick up one of these big ones?
The
mackerel?
yellowfin tuna.
What else you got there, sir? Oh. So that is what we ate already. That is the lionfish. Have you ever been stabbed by one of these fish?
Yes, this finger was totally black. He had an infection.
Oh my God, all this infection talk is making me really hungry.
Tufik is a steady supplier for the Beirut fish market and many restaurants in Beirut. Yet his primary income flows from a family restaurant just a few steps away from this dock. Here, the kitchen boss, Tufik's wife, May, will treat us to some of Lebanon's seafood wonders. While she's preparing the feast, Tufik introduces me to a strange snack, a type of seaweed that doesn't live in the sea.
Okay, he just picked some and he's eating it.
Yeah.
So can we pick some of this?
Yeah, of course.
First of all, I thought seaweed had to be in the sea. It can just be somewhat near the sea.
Yeah.
That counts?
Yeah.
Do you know the name of it?
Hashish bil bahr.
Oh, I like hashish.
Yeah, like hashish. Weed.
All right, let me try it. But this won't get you high, right?
No. No.
It tastes a little bit like celery.
It tastes like the sea, the salt of the sea.
You think so?
Yeah.
شد المعدة.
He was
that
telling
being
me
a vibe?
it's very healthy and it's 3 times better than caviar for the sexual issues.
I gotta slip this into my wife's smoothie in the morning.
Your wife is not good?
Well, it's just when she looks at me, she loses interest. I don't know what to do about that. So it seems you lived your whole life on the coast. When did you get into fishing?
أنا كان عمري 9 سنين.
When he was 12, he stopped school and he kept on fishing. From 1955, he's in the water.
I always felt it weird that people wear boxers under their well, I guess I don't know if this is like a swimsuit. I mean, it looks like it is, but I think Razor does that. It's like super weird to me. It's like, why?
That's a long life of fishing. What made you want to start the
I guess it's like in my mind, I think of it like wearing like panties with like a bathing suit. It just seems odd.
restaurant?
تلوث درنا.
The pollution.
The Mediterranean Sea is one of the most affected zones by marine plastic pollution in the world, leading to annual losses of 700 million in recent years. As a result, hundreds of fishermen in Batroun have given up their ancestral fishing traditions in search of more reliable sources of income.
Captain, this is your son, yes?
Yeah.
You didn't inherit your father's shirtlessness. You like shirts more?
No.
I have to. I have to as well, to protect the audience. Let's talk about what's on the table right now. So we saw this already. This is the plant from the coral rock, but this has been pickled, right?
Yes.
Can we try it out?
Yeah,
It's in their cocoa bulge.
He's like, I'm like, please try. He's like, I don't care. It's still very firm, slightly sour, but it still maintained a lot of the original taste too. It doesn't taste overly pickled.
Because it's new, since they pickled it like 2 months ago.
That's very nice. Now, we have 2 seafood dishes on the table. Let's talk about this one first.
It's a kibbe.
Kibbeh is often described as Middle Eastern meatloaf. Instead of the typical beef or lamb, our kibbeh is made with fresh tuna caught by
Man, that's a
Tufik
big
just
ass
hours ago. So I guess this will be like a fish loaf. First, our chef has it cubed and finely ground. Onion, orange peel, cinnamon, a secret spice mix, coriander, and sea salt whirl in a chopping frenzy.
I didn't even notice him there. Look at how cute he is. And it's just chilling. No, don't eat. Trail. Fine. He wants to go in there with you. Loafing. Full loaf mode. We gotta make a Benny mode. I'm really lazy on the emotes. I'll write that down though. I did do one of my things. I did sub to Dylan Burns' Patreon. I can get rid of this one. I'm out of note cards though. From blue cards to green cards. Oh, fuck. My marker's green. That's gonna be a problem, I think. Oh no, you can still see it. On the list.
This flavor pack mixture is hand kneaded with ground tuna and cracked wheat. Our chef shapes the artful orbs and sneaks some minced onion in the middle. Finally, she throws the balls into a frying pan and lets them tan inside a pool of boiling oil.
Do we start with eating or do we start with drinking? Because I see everybody eyeballing the alcohol.
Yeah, we start with drinking.
Arak, traditionally made of grapes and aniseed, is hailed as the national drink of Lebanon, though it's not for everyone.
Goes down smooth. It's like black licorice and super sweet. Somebody told me
That
previously,
is not what I was expecting.
if you smell it while you drink it, you get more drunk.
That's why we use the small glasses.
So your nose is over here? Oh wow, it's more moist than it looks when you pick it up.
Yeah, you can eat look like that.
Oh my God. Wow, that's really impressive. So it's like a Scotch egg, except for the egg has been replaced with a bunch of seasoned onions and some nuts in there too.
So you liked it, huh?
I really like it.
You can also put some
Ooh.
lemon on it.
Loving that shit up.
Oh man. Very nice with the lemon. It cuts through any heaviness in there and just delicious flavors. I'm really blown away. This is not something you just pop in the microwave. This really takes some time, effort, and some skill. Who's the one making this?
My mother.
Ah, I like how you pointed yourself and then you said your mother. So is the operation like he's catching the fish and mom is cooking the fish?
That's right.
Are you also catching seafood for the restaurant?
Yes.
I did see you had black sea urchin this morning. Is that popular?
Yes. Would you like to taste them?
Sure. Oh, okay. So we have a couple of sea
One
urchins
hair doesn't
being
want to get
brought
in the
here.
ponytail.
Look at this. These eggs are just bright and beautiful. That is really
I don't think I've
fresh.
ever had sea urchin. I find that hard to believe, but I don't think I have. I'm trying to access the memory of like what it would taste like. I'm just imagining like salty, like caviar shit. I don't know.
Really big. I don't know if it gets much bigger than that. This is probably one of the most beautiful sea urchins I've ever seen. Cheers. It's creamy, it's buttery, it's a little bit briny. It's a very nice flavor, incredible. Alas, we have this one right here.
This is tagine, or tajin in Lebanese. It's with tahini.
The star of a tagine dish is the sauce. Lebanon's savory tahini sauce and lime
love
juice come
tahini
together
sauce.
in a bowl. Add some water and sea salt, then stir continuously until it forms a silky smooth white sauce.
I don't know how much I love the idea of my chef not wearing a shirt.
While Tufik is busy with the sauce, his son takes over the fish of the day, the spine foot. After cleaning and gutting, Yusuf gets the fish crispy with an old-school deep frying. Then, the father-son duo joins forces in shredding the fish. Tufik smothers the meat with his white sauce and pine nuts before sending it to the table.
I don't know how I
just
feel
scoop
about
it out?
this.
Yes.
Are there bones?
No.
No bones. Oh, I love it. I genuinely like it. Very creamy. The fish has some nice bite to it, savory flavors. And then when you get to the nuts, these nuts have a great crunch. It's really outstanding. And what I love about it is it's
I've never seen pine nuts that big.
such a different take on seafood. It's like no one's gonna eat this and think, oh, that's similar to Vietnam or Jamaica. No, this is Lebanese.
You like the tahini today?
Yeah, I would say this is like tahini light. It's not so intense like the shawarma. I can still taste the fish. It tastes very balanced. Even it tastes like maybe there's some citrus or lemon inside. Is there lemon?
No.
On the show, I put the title food expert, but I just made that up. If it's your show, you can put whatever title you want. I could put like scientist. It doesn't matter. I do have a few more questions. You know, he's talking about when he was younger, it was easier, there's more fish out there, now there's more difficulty. Meanwhile, you're younger, but in the same trade, essentially, in the same career, going out there into the waters, fishing, getting what you can. So what does the future hold for people like you?
It's getting worse. So every day the fish are getting a lot of lower, and until they are gone. I think they will be gone. There's a lot of fish we have in Lebanon. They disappear.
Already?
Yes.
What do you think the reason is?
Pollution from all countries. South there is Israel, and on the north there's Syria.
Oh,
Both of
Israel at it again.
them
Goddamn
are dropping chemical in the sea. That's why.
Do you think that's going to continue? I mean, it's not in their interest to do that either.
Maybe someone will stop them.
That's a
Maybe.
joke.
So you don't
Okay.
sound very hopeful for the future.
No.
So how can you continue in this trade?
I try my best every day by day.
We try a lot, the media or national organization, local organization, but it needs much time till we have a healthy environment.
For our next Middle Eastern
These beaches are so beautiful.
seafood adventure,
I love like the shallow rock parts. I mean, that just looks really like aesthetically pleasing.
steers us toward one of his regular customers, Chef Maggie. In her oceanside bistro, we'll get a taste of some slimy Mediterranean snails.
I've had Middle Eastern food, but never anything like this. Say, man.
Weaponized autism. Oh, the Greta Thunberg. I can never say her last name. Thunberg thing. Oh, are they rocky though? Because that looks like they're very rocky. You'd probably need like shoes or something. However, your feet would be very well moist or exfoliated.
Maggie, I noticed a lot of people are swimming, tanning.
Yeah, that's a vibe where you're just sitting on the rocks. That's cool.
What kind of beach activity is this exactly?
No. Most armies ignore autistic people. Israel is calling them up. Autistic volunteers to join. So they don't... Oh, like literally weaponizing autism. He was a web specialist only. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Research. Also autistic. I don't think that, like, you can't join the military if you're autistic, like, in the United States, right? You say autism in military? People with autism spectrum disorder aren't forbidden to go into the military. So we do that too. It doesn't really seem like that's a... I mean, obviously it's not a conscript... Like, it's not, like, mandatory. So... There's that, but... Like, I couldn't join the military if I wanted to. Well, technically I've never been diagnosed. My... psychologist? I can always get the words mixed up. He said that I could be diagnosed with it. Like, definitely I have enough of, like, the... Because it's, like, a list of, like, symptoms, and, like, I have enough of them that I could be, but he didn't... Felt like it was, like, necessary. It's voluntary there. They encourage... What? What do you mean it's not mandatory in Israel? It literally, like, is mandatory. Or do you just mean for autistic people? I mean, there's, like, ways to, you know, avoid it, but it's pretty much everyone serves for, what is it, like 2 years? I think it's, like, 2 years for women and, like, maybe a little bit longer for men. I don't remember. Oh, I see. Okay. Elaborate in the specifics. Many autistic teenagers are exempt from military service. I see. If I would have just kept going down the article. First unit to recruit from the program was the classified unit. Prestigious visual intelligence outfit. I mean, that would make sense that they would be good at that. Intensive training, huh? Units, but at this stage they participate in the training courses as civilians. Insider was granted rare access to the electronic courses of Roim? Intensive Shucks. Oh, I know I'm pronouncing this so wrong. Intense training program which lasts up to 4 months. Dude, this is a room of gamers if I've ever seen a room of gamers. I mean, I'm one of you, but like, I would imagine this would be a magic tournament. This is the most like magic players. Like they should be playing D&D. We had a dude who had a terrible stutter and he did okay. Then another guy who couldn't keep in sync with marching. We kept him out the last march in front of generals, and we had some outright racists from Wisconsin. They actually kicked him out. Well, good. I mean, I don't really think marching is that like important to be able to do. Like you do that in combat. I think it's just like a discipline thing. The brainwashiness, right? Sitting in a circle surrounded by computers and maps of Israel, the students are reflecting on why they signed up for the training program, which if completed successfully will allow them to become full-fledged members of the IDF. Such fucking gamers. That's so funny to me. Those looks like the way that they're dressed. Very difficult to make a future, get a job, make rent, buy an apartment, says... Did I miss? Oh, I missed a paragraph. There's an, the unanimous agreement that employability plays a big part, even though it is technically illegal for an employer to ask directly about military experience. In practice, it doesn't matter. Oh, I see. So for them, it feels like it was, like, mandatory. Because that is true. That there's a big, like... I didn't realize they asked like that, but that makes sense. I know there's like a big like culture of if you don't serve in the IDF and you're in Israel, that like you kind of get blacklisted in a way, socially ostracized, I guess you could say. And for the army, it would be very difficult to make a future and get a job, make rent, buy an apartment, says Natir. An 18-year-old from Holland, as his classmates nod. Ronnie, at 19 years old from the Rishon Lezion, I don't know if I said that right, raised her hand to speak. I'm joining the IDF to have better chances in the future, she says. It's not only the addition to her resume that will make her more employable, she adds, but also the skills she and her classmates develop along the way. It makes a lot of people more confident in what we're doing and more communicative in language, she says. Ron, 18 years old from Givatayim, says the course has helped him work on his short fuse and has been vital for his personal development. The skills and unique perspectives that autistic people can... This is like a recruitment tool? Like this article, I mean? Different way you said that offers creative solutions. Sure. For example, Ron said his intense and highly focused interests, which are common among people with autism, make him a dedicated worker and a quick learner. I know when I'm fixated on something, when something really gets my interest, it's hard for me to stop thinking about it and enjoy it. Yes. Yeah, I get it. For non-cert, yeah. And of course, one of those things that is illegal, but you know how that is.
She's hunting snails.
Oh, hunting. That sounds incredibly badass that she's hunting them and not just collecting or gathering them.
Maggie's life depends entirely on the ocean's mercy. Left a widow with 2 daughters at the age of 22, she went on to run her own restaurant where she sources much of the seafood herself.
This is amazing because her restaurant is just literally right here behind us.
That's so cool.
Perched on the edge of this cliff.
Dude, that's beautiful.
Looking out into the ocean, and she can just walk down here from her home, which is also in the restaurant, and get the food for the day that she needs. How many ingredients from your restaurant are you able to collect here?
The crab, some of the fish, calamari, the snails.
Wow, well done. And they're definitely alive because they're trying to suck back into their shells.
I'm asking her if we can eat them raw, so she told me no.
Thank God. I mean, I can eat raw liver apparently, but not raw this.
Happy with her snail hunt, Maggie invites Omar and me back to her restaurant where she treats us to a meal of her best sellers. And those snails have slid their way into our first course. These shelled gastropods are due for a sonotherapy with onion and cinnamon cloves.
Cinnamon?
Meanwhile, our chef conjures up a dipping sauce with garlic, salt, olive oil, and lime juice.
Oh, that looks fire, that dipping sauce.
Arm myself with a toothpick. So she uses a toothpick. She goes deep inside.
Okay.
Collecting the snails does require a degree of skill and patience. And if you lack either one, you will eat nothing. Oh, and she's giving it to me. Thank you so much. Oh, That's
never had
really
snails.
nice. The snail meat, it's a bit small, but it's very tender.
The tradition here, you should eat it with garlic, lemon, lime, olive oil,
want
and
that
some
sauce.
salt.
Oh, mine's stuck in there. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I'm so bad at this. I didn't get a single snail yet. Give it a little dip here.
They are tasty, huh?
This sauce is to die for. It's an incredible, fragrant, powerful combination. The olive oil makes it so rich. The garlic and the lemon. Oh, it's so fresh and so flavorful. I love it. Here is our main course right here.
It's time for the grand ending with samke hara, a dish born in northern Lebanon, but cherished all over the country. Maggie slices a gray mullet and rubs its scrumptious meat with a garlic and parsley mix.
All right.
She places the fish on the grill. Next to it, cashew nuts and almonds are roasted in 2 separate iron skillets.
Does roasting nuts really do anything? I guess the whole chestnuts are, I don't know. Wait, are modern almonds roasted? Like the ones with the, or do they come like that? I feel like I just never thought about that before.
Letting the fire do its job, Maggie shifts her attention to a salsa-like sauce that starts with olive oil, garlic, and jalapeno. Soon, diced onion, tomato, and green pepper join the vibrant pot. Clove powder and salt finish the flavor profile.
Okay, that looks pretty good.
Maggie shreds the fish meat and removes
Which one? Did you just put it out? I don't, so you can link it if you want.
all the bones. Then she plates it with roasted nuts and fresh lemon. Now, the feast is complete.
All right, so she's scooping the Lebanese salsa on top of the fish.
That looks pretty good.
Oh my God, it looks absolutely stunning. I love it. Oh no, can you, here. Oh, it's clean.
Cheers.
It's so good. It's rich, it's oily, it's spicy, it's fresh.
With the cashew nuts and with the almond oil.
We have not. We're gonna get to that after this video. Start a little bit
Also,
later
they
today.
give it that.
Yeah, wonderful roasted, toasted texture. This is the best dish I've had so far in Lebanon.
Ah, okay.
You know, I've had Middle Eastern food, but never anything like this. And I know the Middle East is a big place. A lot of different people and cultures are represented here, but this is 10 out of 10. Hold on, I found a bone. 9.5 out of 10.
Come on.
9.5.
This is a small explosive in the fish.
I like casual explosive jokes in the Middle East. That's fun. Over 14.
Did you
How
mean to
long has this
timestamp
restaurant
this?
been here?
1995, she opened this place and she started fetching for the best fish she can find or she can buy. And she had lots of relations with fishermen.
And so I'm sure you've seen this place change a lot. Now it feels maybe like a miniature Pekino.
Mykonos.
Mykonos. Did I say Pekino's? That's where Pikachu's from. I enjoy Beirut, but it has a different, more like pushy nature to it. People are in a rush. It's a big city, but here it's much more laid back. People are very
It's the
sweet
vibe.
and thoughtful, and it's somewhere completely different than I've ever been before. But the bigger question is this: how have you seen this place change and develop since 38 years ago?
Batroun is a very nice city. It looks like a village and at the same time
like a beach
it's
town.
city. It keeps its authentic look through the years. She hopes
Very
that
beautiful.
everything stays
damn.
somehow the same because she loves it as it is.
Is there a big danger or
I'm gonna
concern
let
of
them
things
know.
changing as the years go on?
She's afraid from the people that are coming to Batroun, maybe
I want to sit on one of these.
tourism and so many restaurants to change the personality of Batroun and the people here, the rocks and all these buildings and everything around. She's not afraid of losing them, but she's afraid of losing the people and she loves the people mainly.
Do you plan to stay here for the rest of your life?
She lived here and if God says let's die, she will die here.
Do you think God could let me live here?
Of course, God will let you stay here because you're very similar
You know this bitch is racist. She's just giving me that vibe.
to us with your sweetheart and your sweet actions.
Oh my God, this lady.
Yeah.
That was not unfair to say. But let's be real. You were thinking it.
Welcome to
She
Batroun.
is such a charmer.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club.
If you love Indian food,
Good food though.
Well,
Seems ep. All right, let's get back to this. Did we literally just? So my computer turned off. So this is like where it's resuming from. I don't remember if this is exactly where we were at. So apologies if that is not the case. We'll definitely back up a little bit because I don't remember the context of this. very welcoming. Yeah, but she's got that, like, you know, that really nice, like, mom vibes that then, like, when they, like, drop, like, the N-word or something, you're like, what the fuck? I'm not saying that she would say that. I'm just saying that type of, like, aesthetic. There's just my sus detector picking up on something there. Political and at Thanksgiving. Yeah, kinda.
That's what he said.
Which, like, she's like super kind and like adorable, like, older woman who then like says that how much she hates like Muslims or something. Like, just like, you're like, whoa, where'd that come from?
I just want to quick mention that while no Russians from what we
Okay, I don't remember what the fuck.
After that 49 state landslide.
Okay, let's just start over from this section because I don't remember.
Has been like kind of those of you who know people who have had.
What has life been like for people in Crimea since Russian annexation in 2014?
Lived through it or have been paying attention more than, you know, other people?
Well, basically, I know a bunch of people who escaped from Crimea when this happened. And yeah, those, to be honest, if we speak about the most, let's say, people who like Russia or liked Russia the best, that would be Crimea. Mostly because majority of people are Russian there, ethnically, which Hassan mentions. I don't know if you showed this clip.
I'm sorry, I don't want to. I don't think you should say ethnically because a lot of Russians were sent there because they had a lot of military bases there as well.
Yes, but
because of the deportation of ethnic people.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Yeah. So right now, the last time we had like this demographic, 60% was ethnic Russian in Crimea. This was the result of the genocide and deportation of Crimean Tatari, who were native people there. And because of that, they pretty much moved Russians there, and it became Russian majority, which is one of the ways Russia uses their population to have a cultural leverage and influence in certain area. So yes, most people there will not
manifest destiny.
Not exactly like
so they're not
Ukraine.
ethnic.
They're ethnically Russian.
Well, they are Russian, but they're not ethnic to the Crimean.
No.
Yeah.
Their ethnicity
Not
is
native.
Russian. They're not native.
Okay,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so they were moved there, and because of that, of course, there's a lot of Russian like allegiance there, and many people were pro-Russian in a sense. But at the same time, liking Russia and is not the same as wanting to be part of Russia. And he said to Ethan that supposedly it was rigged, and supposedly. He adds those words just to make himself enough.
I do notice he does that.
I think.
Yeah, but that's another story. Yeah, basically, Crimea is justified in his words, right? Specifically because of the Russian majority population there, which again is appeal to ethnic arguments. You can't annex Mexico, can't annex a southern state where there are a lot of Hispanic people.
Texas.
He would not use this logic for any other country.
True. Go off, Queen.
He only uses it for us because he doesn't respect us and doesn't see us as a country.
May I add my reaction? What I've heard,
and then we'll keep going.
Yes. What I've heard is a person who doesn't ever consider happening this to him. Like, he never considers that this might happen to him in USA.
One quick question, and I don't want to stay on it too long.
Yeah, I mean that's like the fault of the logic, right? It's like why does that make it like what? There's a lot of people there from another country, so then they get to just take that area. That just doesn't make any sense.
But do you guys believe that it's hard for Americans to conceptualize what's going on here due to their relative security?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess so.
In some part, yeah.
Like, I am more critical, as of now, I am more critical of the Russian actions of yesterday than the American government is, okay? Just understand that. I am more critical of the actions that took place yesterday than the American government is. The American government that was agitating for a war and said, banging the war drums, banging the war drums, banging the war drums.
How?
literally non-fucking stop saying like Russia's gonna murder babies, they're gonna eat babies inside of Kiev. They're
Did they say that? You have a citation needed?
ready to eat babies. They have a thirst for blood. They have a thirst for blood. Those motherfuckers have now turned around and been like, okay, well, you know, maybe this is not an invasion because technically they invaded 8 years ago. So maybe it's not an invasion.
What a misrepresentation.
No, this is a legitimized, like, this is the actual legitimate fucking invasion in comparison to the past 8 years of like Tim Pool after that 49 state landslide.
So he said this was the legitimate invasion, the annexation of Donetsk and Luhansk. That's what he's talking about in comparison to the last 8 years.
The thing that I actually thought that for a while because obviously completely misinformed. Not an expert now by any means, but like I feel like it's really hard to maintain that opinion if you have like any information about that and what happened, you know. Like I feel like just like a mild understanding would lead you away from Hassan's position, which to me makes it seem like he knows he's not correct on this. And what does that then mean? Either he's like, what, completely uninformed to a way that I don't really think is the case, or he's kind of just doing Russian propaganda to an extent. Really odd. Disappointing, of course.
That's what he said.
I just want to quick mention that while no Russians, from what we know, ate any babies, they did rape babies.
Yeah.
So just you know, to correct Hassan there.
Also, he made the point and he made it previously and here as well. He said that, talk to me when like Russians start throwing Ukrainians in concentration camps. Hassan, what say you? I mean...
No, he would say, well, the United States has prisons, so checkmate, idiot.
I mean, what say you? Like about Bucha, about Yahidne, which was literally the camp.
About
yeah, about all of that. Please do tell. What's your opinion?
I would assume, I believe he has condemned those types of actions.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm going to push us forward because we're still on the first clip.
Yeah.
I would look like Tim Pool after that 49 state landslide L if, you know, there was a active bombing currently happening on Kiev and like Ukrainians were being murdered left and right at this moment.
You do.
I would be that way if America was like, we're going to full-throated, this is a full-blown invasion, and yet it hasn't happened. At this point, I have a more aggressive stance on Russian troops inside of Ukrainian borders than the American State Department does.
This is pre-invasion.
So how do you pair up with
I like
that?
how he just defaults to America bad every time. It's just like, okay, we're gonna talk about Ukraine, but first, America was fucked up.
Yep.
Oh no, my chair is a Hassan fan. Look, he just pinched me. That chair's broken here. Oh. Like, broken here? It literally just pinched my arm. Fucking scared me. Gotta be worried about this chair now. Should put something over it or something. Be America good. America good. I am the biggest patriot.
Yeah, he does look kind of silly, won't you all say, about the bombing comment?
Not the first time he's wrong.
Yeah.
It's literally like they're doing a fucking W tour. They're like, yo, we're gonna predict the misinformation to false flag. Dude, okay, solve it. Solve the problem. What the fuck are they gonna do? Are they gonna go in? Are they gonna fucking fight back? Are they gonna like actually fly planes into Ukraine? Are they gonna send in the 6,000 troops at the fucking border of Ukraine? Non-believers like you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they got this one fucking. They got this one. Okay. At this point, if you are in a position of fucking power, you had every opportunity to fucking exhaust diplomacy. Instead of fucking endlessly being like, this is a war that's gonna happen, this is a war that's gonna happen. Okay, then fucking try to solve it.
Well, I would...
Yeah, like give them weapons and stuff, right? Like what?
like kind of agree here, except like I would agree on 50% here because I believe that there should have been.
Yeah, but I feel like he was saying it like sarcastically, like he didn't actually want that. Hold on, I'm not even letting him talk.
A stronger stance pre-war,
Correct.
and if that would be strong, it could potentially avoid the whole war. We don't know that, of course, and I don't think it was diplomacy. I think it would be like specific actions, sending weapons, perhaps even sending troops to prevent
more weapons
the war.
than they did. More than
I mean, sure.
Yeah, more
like,
than the javelin.
resolve,
Yeah,
basically.
or saying like even like pledging. Like saying, we're gonna send you like heavy weaponry, artillery, tanks. We will never back down. The same way they, like Biden says, not an inch of NATO ground or something like that. I feel like that's a very strong statement.
Basically, if in 2014 there was not just a slip on the wrist, basically some sanctions.
Well, that was a complete success.
Yeah, but that was like a slip on the wrist. If that was like the reaction of the West, might have been much stronger, even in words, but still more like condemning, promising us like some solid help, assistance. Maybe Russia would not have, but who knows? Maybe it's like there's no point talking.
Well, because to join the EU, actually, I have never mind. I thought you meant the UN. Because I think you have to vote to join the UN, and obviously Russia's part of the UN, and I think has like would not want that. So, but yeah, I have no idea about how the EU works. Still can't believe that England pulled out of the EU, and now they just like are getting so fucked because of it. 1 second. I'll be right back. You kind of suck sometimes, though. He's supposed for working on helping Ukraine get closer to becoming a UN member, but there was just too much corruption. Trump presidency didn't help much either. I could see that. I mean, the UN really doesn't do anything. The only thing about the UN is that, like, they have, to some extent, like military troops, right? I don't really know enough or almost like anything about the UN, just because it seems like they're so irrelevant. I've seen UN soldiers, so I don't really know. Like, let's look it up. Does the UN have military power? UN has no military forces of its own, and member states provide on a voluntary basis. The military and police panel required. Okay, so they are not like, that makes sense, right? They're not like a standing military. They just like, they'll have like US troops or whatever, and they'll just wear the UN thing. Thank you, Anime Titty God. Okay. Really? Wait, what? It was a founding member? It was one of the founding members of the United Nations when it joined in... Wait. Wait, what? You needed to live? Sure. Wait, 1945? I didn't think that I'm sorry. That Ukraine was... Wait, hold on. Oh my god, I haven't been to the homepage of Wikipedia in like so fucking long. That like threw me off there. I didn't think Ukraine as a nation was that old. Formation. What? That was from 800. Yeah, I thought the current constitution is 1998. I guess it was after the fall of the Soviet Union? I'm confused. Basically every... Oh, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't seem right with the timeline there. I see. I just meant like Ukraine in its current form. Oh, that makes sense.
Biden got himself to Russia because he was trying to negate the damage that Trump did when he fucked up the relationship with Germany and all of that, and the Nord Stream was built, and
yeah, so like
he was trying to
the Ukraine, or like that's like the way that people phrase it when it was part of the USSR.
appease Russia. And I remember his diplomatic mission to Russia, Biden's, was like, let's be buddies because China.
I like how they literally tried diplomacy and it didn't work, and this guy is just sitting. They should have tried diplomacy.
Obama was doing that.
We're going to talk about. He is going to talk about the possibility of Minsk 3 later.
Oh yeah.
Because 1 and 2 were great.
Yeah. Let's talk.
Yeah, we've tried this twice and it hasn't worked. Let's try it a third time. Third time's the charm, as they say.
It worked so good.
You could just take the L Ukraine. Wait, no, that's not what I'm saying. America has already delivered the L to Ukraine, okay? That's not what I'm saying at all.
Huh?
I'm saying America needs to fucking take the L.
Of course.
Of course, yeah.
That's all of this. There's one more pre-war clip I wanted to show you. 1 second.
So that Russian invasion bad, but America is worse.
America exists.
Yeah,
L.
Yeah, big
So
L.
this was around February 15th. Oh, this was posted around February 15th.
Oh, I should like the video.
This
Like the
is
video.
him reacting to a now deleted video by the Gravel Institute. The Gravel Institute was started by.
That's like his main thing. Like if you think of like branching things of his positions, I feel like the main position is literally just America bad. And then like other things off that. But like the main thing, I feel like with a lot of his commentary is America bad.
Former staffers for the Mike Gravel campaign in 2020. For the record, I did actually at one point work on the Mike Gravel campaign. I just should say that for bias reasons. In this video, he's reacting to them talking about the threat of Ukrainian Nazism in Ukraine. Now, the Gravel Institute, due to critiques they received for this video has now been removed. I do want to put that out there for the record. But this is Hassan reacting to that and making a comparison to the Mujahideen.
Wow, the auto-generated text isn't putting any respect on him. We're like Hassan, am I right? Instead of Hassan? Hey, got him!
Which were the rebel fighters in Afghanistan, extrapolating the idea that maybe if they fund Azov to fight Russia or fund the Ukrainians with weapons, it could lead to Azov overthrowing the Ukrainian government or some type of far-right takeover. But I don't want to put...
This text is struggling. I mean, this is auto-generated, so it is what it is, but I just find it kind of helpful with the...
words in his mouth, you can listen to it yourself. Here it is.
For the record, this is exactly how it works in Latin American countries as well. This is exactly how it works in the Mujahideen being armed and being seen as like a revolutionary counterbalance to the fucking the USSR military forces in Afghanistan. Like, we have done this already. We've done this a million times over. This is kind of America's modus operandi, which is why I fucking hyper-focus on this and talk
I'm
about
so annoyed. The America patch.
it, okay?
Ukraine is... So he's saying that he hyper-focuses and talk about it. What do you think about the Mujahideen comparison?
I think that this is a perfectly fair comparison when you don't have a clue what you're talking about. You don't know the situation inside Ukraine. You don't know how these forces are represented in Ukraine. You don't.
Wasn't the Mujahideen like the main... Hold on, I don't know enough about this at all. Mujahideen? Mujahideen. Struggle or okay. Refer to the engage in jihad. The guerrilla type militant group led by Islamist Afghans. Veterans in the Soviet-Afghan War. See Afghan. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. Islamic rebel militants that fought the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan. It's a really weird flag. I don't know why it's weird to me, but it's just weird to me. I don't know why. In the Soviet Union during the Soviet-Afghan War and subsequently the First Afghan Civil War. So they were fighting against the Soviet Union's control over Afghanistan, it seems. So how is that a comparison to you? Like, they're not, like, these were rebels, right? How the fuck does that have anything to do with a Azov battalion? They weren't rebels, right? They're just like a section of their military force? I mean, like, kind of on its face. Forget, whatever. Is a formation of a National Guard of Ukraine, formerly based in Mariupol in a coastal region, which derives its name. Is founded in 2014. So, yeah, it's part of the government. Volunteer paramilitary militia under the command of whatever, to fight pro-Russian forces in the war in the Donbass. Yeah, that doesn't really seem like the same thing. I'm sure he'll elaborate.
You don't know anything about Azov, you don't know anything about Ukrainian politics and like what people, like seriously, Ukraine was fully occupied during World War II by Nazis. Russia, like, it's kind of crazy because we were taught still like USSR history, and that it was said that the whole, like, half of USSR was occupied and Nazis were like very close to like the heart of Moscow and stuff. When you look at the map, they were like in the regions that are now being shelled by Ukrainian missiles. So like Belgorod, no, Ukrainian, Belgorod, like all these.
Yeah, closer to the.
Yeah, it was really close, but whole Ukraine was occupied.
In Belarus.
Do you really think that like there's a strong Nazi presence in Ukraine? Like there is a nationalist presence, and the presence. I feel like nationalism obviously has bad connotations in the West, but it is only bad, I believe.
I don't know. I think he's acknowledging that he had, like, you know, propaganda spewed to them growing up, and it's like, yeah, that's not actually what it was like. When you look at history, you know what I mean?
When you're in a peacetime, because what comes out of nationalism that way is usually like racism against.
He hasn't even made a point yet. What do you mean you can say he's brainwashed? He hasn't even said what he was trying to say. He's just doing a little bit of a background there, or like a preamble.
People who are migrating to the country and stuff. You start to find enemies, but when your country is being attacked and there's a very clear enemy, and you kind of, you know, people consolidate under a national.
Wait, he's literally saying what you just said.
Idea, so that's absolutely fine under such conditions, but I completely
just a little bit of a context. I actually watched that Gravel Institute video before it got removed and lost my shit, because that was 100% Russian propaganda repackaged in English, like word for word, same words, like Nazi, America-sponsored revolution was a coup.
No, he said that he was taught that Nazis were were like in school, that they were taught like history, where like basically the Nazis were like occupying like all of like the USSR or whatever. And he's saying like when you actually look at it, it wasn't really like that obviously was a lie, you know. But they definitely were in Ukraine, and Ukraine, when you're trying to have like, so you're gonna have fucking like Nazi motherfuckers, and when you're fighting against an enemy, you don't really give a shit about who you're working with, right? So it's exactly what you said. So it's a little odd that it seems Like you just like don't like this guy.
Was a Western-sponsored coup. Everything was in far-right people everywhere. So Hassan watches it in front of like thousands upon thousands of his viewers, basically nods to it.
And I like what? Are you fucking? When did you make your account? Are you serious right now? Okay, so what is your point? I'm annoyed that you're being the one guy. So can you make your point? Or are you just gonna say things about like propaganda? Like it seems like you are doing like a propaganda thing here. What? Okay, I don't think this guy has a point. You have a point? I'll give you a second. Next thing you say better be your point or I'm done.
And then makes the Mujahideen comparison.
Oh, I do want to ask, do you think that when he was bringing this up on February 15th, as a possible reason maybe not to send supplies to the Ukrainian military, or that this could destabilize Ukraine, or it could end up like the Mujahideen with the Taliban? Do you think there's any legitimacy to that concern whatsoever?
Not whatsoever, for the reasons we mentioned, because far-right people, we have the democracy, we have functioning government, it's not like a gangs of far-right fundamental Islamists are running around and, fighting with each other. That's first of all. And second of all, this is an attempt to undermine aid to Ukraine. And so, the most interesting part of it is, he is...
Sorry, I missed the fucking question. It's hard for me to hear. What do you think about Hassan's concerns that U.S. weapon shipments could end up in the wrong hands? Right, okay.
Democracy, we have functioning government, it's not like a gangs of far-right fundamental Islamists are running around and, fighting with each other. That's first of all. And second of all, this is an attempt to undermine aid to Ukraine. And so, the most interesting part of it is, he is supposedly concerned that fascists and far-right people will come into power.
Yeah, again, like, that is a fair concern, I guess, but, like, okay. Like, why, like, you really gonna... Like, what are you saying, really? Like, you just no aid because of the possibility that this might happen? Like, what are you talking about? So crazy to me. As well, pragmatism, Ukraine nationalists claim it was only due to nationalism. Okay, so you still have not made your point. Okay, you're just gonna say things.
Ukraine due to the aid and due to the America, but he's not concerned that fascists will come into power in Ukraine if Russia takes Ukraine. Not concerned about that whatsoever. Yeah, so he mentions our far-right people and the Western government sponsoring them, but doesn't say a word about what awaits us here if Russia takes over.
And then specifically said he likes to focus on it.
Yeah, and he says he likes to focus on America, not on the country that is actually invading and killing people in this country.
By the way,
also, like, wait, maybe he's gonna make this point, but the aid that we're sending to Ukraine is like old munitions that like we just been holding on to. Like, it's not like we're sending them like the craziest shit that we have. Like, we're not giving them like the 5,000 nukes or some shit. Like, this isn't like top of the line shit, Like, it's weird to have this concern. It's like, yeah, there's gonna be corruption in every country. Like, there's a shit ton of corruption in the United States. Are you kidding me? But I don't feel like this is a legitimate concern to not send them aid. That seems really silly.
Aid that Obama brought and that Trump brought is like, it is laughable. And he opposes even that. So
okay, you're just anti-Ukraine. I'm done with you. Go fuck yourself.
Like, javelins are great, but...
Russia helped us a bit in the beginning, of course, but...
Russia really targets Azov. In my opinion, it's because
it's obviously not my argument. It was a counter argument to the idea of like we're gonna send them like the top like Hassan was like implying that like they're gonna, I don't know, black market that shit.
It is, and it was one of the most effective units, and it was creating a lot of problems for Russians, especially in 2014. Thanks to them, they weren't able to take Mariupol back then, and they knew it was organized, it was strong.
There absolutely were Ukrainian Nazis, but like it's not that. Like, okay, there's fucking United States Nazis. Like, what do you mean?
and it could really stop them, and that's what they really targeted that. Of course, like there's history of Azov where it was a guy who initially
Zelensky has a bad rap. They use that.
Yeah,
as well,
but he also has bad rep among some other Ukrainians. Like it's not like a figure that is
He's no longer in control of Azov, first of all, and I would say is I don't know for sure a Nazi back then in the day. Yeah, but they tied to this history. Also, Russian used this narrative very effectively because they tied this whole Bandera thing that is long-standing like accusations of all Ukrainians being Nazi.
A guy who died in a Nazi camp.
Not to mention the fact that it was like I recently did research on that because I'm always asked about that. And the number of collaborations, the highest number of collaborations.
Wait, you had to do research about Bandera? Aren't every Ukrainian taught from that from school?
I have to know what's up. I'm being asked all the time and calling Bandera Ukrainian Nazi war all the time. So I gotta, play this up. So basically the number of collaborators was less than 1% in Ukraine. Yeah. We are talking non-stop about this Nazi problem, despite the fact that amount of Nazi collaborators in Ukraine was less than 1%, and 7 million people served in Red Army, and 5 million Ukrainians died due to Nazi occupation. And we have to deal with these people like that, watching videos of us and calling us Nazis. People who didn't suffer from Nazis, by the way, Americans, not nearly as much as Ukrainians.
And people who are okay with us being subjugated and
captured,
that shit,
right? Honestly, yeah. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. We're going to go on to the next video. So, today is the anniversary of the Kerch Bridge attack when the Ukrainian military targeted the Kerch Bridge, which connects,
Oh god, it's gonna be when he called us a terrorist attack. Like, god. Well... Making Americans look bad, yeah.
I know you guys already know this, but for the record, it connects Russia to Crimea. It was established...
Oh no, this is a war crime because of trains. It's just a joke on how much I love trains. I don't actually mean that.
And around 2015, 2016, by Vladimir Putin, it was built illegally in occupied land. And Hassan had a take after the bridge was targeted. It was targeted in order to disrupt Russian supply lines to the front, since it's a major...
Bro, look at this. 2 train lines? It is a beautiful bridge, as much as obviously it's being used for horrible purposes.
Supply line for the Russians. And Hassan ended up calling the targeting of this bridge a war crime. And so we're going to play...
Oh, did I say terrorist attack? I meant war crime, sorry.
Audio of his accusation, so you can listen to his own words.
It's a bridge where the Russian forces are being supplied, but it's also a bridge that connects Crimea to the Russian mainland.
That's how bridges
so
Wait, it connects things? That's crazy.
Absolutely can consider it a war crime in the same way.
I love these Ukrainians. I want to hang out with them.
When Russia blows up shit on the civilian infrastructure and claims that they're doing it for military purposes, it's just like bullshit. Not that it fucking matters. They literally blew up the pipelines, dude. They blew up the pipelines that were in Europe, and it went nowhere. I felt like I was eating.
That has not been conclusive as of what I understand. There was like a TYT reporting that was saying it was like Ukraine because some people rented a boat from people who were Ukrainian. Not even like living in Ukraine, they just were Ukrainian. It's like really shitty fucking assessment. I don't know if there's been more since then. This is like a few months ago I'm talking about. But like, God, the amazing amount of just like confidence in what he's saying is pretty stunning. Of like something that you don't know that's true.
Every crazy pill on the goddamn planet when I was talking about it, and everyone was like, Hassan, you don't have enough information for this. It's like, what are you talking about? You have to look to
He's literally so consistent. I applaud him at least being consistent about his like dumbass takes, because this is like such a good mirror of like the hospital bombing in Gaza. Like, you just like You still haven't caught you? Oh, fuck. Well, don't implicate me. I'm gonna have to tell somebody.
Who stands to benefit in situations like this, right?
You gotta say lol. Rondo, we can't move on until you say lol. Jake, like, just say lol. No, I'm not... I could say I perceived it as a joke. We're not moving on until you say lol. All right, perfect.
So, ultimately,
Got confused.
ultimately, it's ridiculous. And this is what happens every single time.
So he talks about Nord Stream a little bit at the end there, but you guys can comment on that as if you want. But I wanted to start with the Kerch Bridge statement. What did you guys think about him saying that the targeting of the Kerch Bridge was a war crime?
Well, this is about the...
Oh, it's spelled like that? I always, in my head, thought it's Kurdish Bridge, but Kerch Bridge. Maybe it's just pronounced that way, I don't know.
Most stupid thing. We have heard a lot of stupid things, but this is about the most stupid thing, because in every war in human history, bridges have been the most legitimate, the most on the nose.
That was actually one of the big things from I remember in World War II. Fuck, I can't remember what the operation was called, but like when a lot of paratroopers, their mission in Germany was to destroy the bridges. That was like the main fucking thing that they were supposed to do, was blow up like the bridges, because that stops like the flow of, you know, artillery, resources, all of that shit. Fuck, what was it called? That wasn't was it in the Netherlands? I just know it was in Europe, whatever. But like I thought it was in Germany, but I guess I could be wrong on that. Was that? It was the one that had the cool name, right? Oh, it was Market Garden. Here, let's look it up. Dude, I want to be the guy that comes. Yeah, Allied military operation during the Second World War. Fought the German occupied Netherlands. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Its objective was to create into German territory with a bridgehead over bridgehead. The strategic important area of ground around the end of a bridge or other place of possible crossing over a body of water, which at time conflict is sought to be defended. Or were they trying to take the bridges? I thought they were trying to blow them up, but maybe they were wanting to occupy the bridges. Because the point being that bridges are incredibly important military targets. Regardless, I do want to know the right answer here, though. The first Allied airborne army was landed. The British were supposed to marry 41,000 were dropped at sites where they could capture key bridges and hold the terrain until the land forces were... Okay, so I was thinking the opposite way. Okay, yeah, but like the point being that the bridges are fucking incredibly important military targets. Gotcha. Okay. Soldiers will land at south a single road surrounded by floodplains on both sides. The anticipation. I'm having an autism moment. Sorry, I want to read this. It were in their vicinity to oppose Allied offensive. It was the largest airborne operation of the war at that point. The operation succeeded in capturing the Dutch cities of Eindhoven and Nijmegen. You fucking Dutch motherfuckers with all your dotted letters. Along with many talents and a few V2 rocket launch sites. It failed in its most important objective, securing the bridge over the Rhine at Arnhem. The Germans slowed and then halted the armored brigades advancing from the south before reaching the Rhine. Rhine. The 1st Airborne Division was unable to secure the bridge and was withdrawn from the north side of the Rhine after suffering 8,000 dead, missing, and captured out of the complement of 12. Oh, God. Historians have been critical of their plan and execution of the Operation Market Garden. Right. The Germans counterattacked salient, but failed to retake any of the Allied gains. The Germans punished the people of the Netherlands by cutting off food shipments to... Oh, sounds familiar, huh? To the country, and 20,000 people died of starvation. Oh my God. Arnhem was finally captured by the Allies in April 1945 towards the end of the war. That's crazy. I love Germany versus everybody else. Literally a bridge too far. Stop.
Legitimate war target you can ever imagine. This is the bridge that was built illegally on the annexed territory, first of all.
And specifically for the military.
The second of all, for supplies, millions of videos of tanks, I don't know, like armored vehicles, artillery, going through this bridge, us attacking that bridge.
Yeah, also, I'm surprised they didn't do like the train part of it, because I feel like that part is like the more dangerous area. Because, like, a train, I think, does a better job of being able to transport something than, like, maybe they tried to do both. I don't know. I think they did it. I just remember seeing that one image that they showed earlier. But, like, if you're, like, going to transport a tank, I think a train would probably be the best. It hurts me to say that, of course, but they probably should have taken the train part out. You know what I mean?
In the time of the day where there was the least amount of people there possible. Yeah. So it calls that and compares it the worst.
I think it like killed like 2 people or something. Did you kill 2 people? Me. He's fucking or what? Oh, nice. You're having a date night?
To Russians blowing up residential areas, blowing up hospitals, kindergartens. At that day, he commented on the bridge, just so you guys know. But this was the day when Zaporizhia was attacked. And the entire building was leveled, and more than 50 people died. Yeah. And he didn't say a word, but he said plenty of words about attacking a legitimate target and calling it a terrorist act and comparing it to actual terrorist acts.
Oh, he did call it terrorist. Okay, well, I guess I wasn't wrong on that.
That's
because I thought he said that too, and I was like, what? That is such a fucking crazy thing to say. The terrorist attack to take out a bridge?
All I have to say about
this. And then
this.
deflected to the Nord Stream.
Yeah,
he likes to talk
and that's
about
it. They blew up. So basically accusing us.
Actually, like it's a fucking fact, proven fact, but it's not. No one knows.
It's like when a teacher never noticed bullying in school, and some big kid punches the little boy, and then once he like strikes back, like, oh my god, what are you doing? It's the same thing. It's
I've been holding that opinion for a while.
Yeah.
He said it himself. It's used for military purpose.
Yeah, he does.
It's a little vindicating that I feel like I did feel that way at the time too. I was like, that seems ridiculous. So just you always put your arms so deep into my back. Sorry. I've totally forgot what I was saying, but like, I think I was saying that it's like vindicating to like know that that is also the opinion of, you know, these aren't like all Ukrainian people, of course. I would imagine they have like some sort of bias considering their, they seem like they know each other. But like, I think that's completely fair criticism, of course.
Does say it in the beginning, in that sense it's not legitimate.
So attacking a military target is a war crime nowadays?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Thank you, Hassan.
Thank you, Hassan, for letting me know.
You know, it's like the more times he like is proven wrong, his position moves like to the moves closer to the correct position, like, you know, he like war is bad and all of that. But he always occupies like the most the most pro-Russian position that is maybe portrayed as believable to some people.
True.
You know, it's like invasion's not gonna happen. Well, it was provoked. No, it wasn't. But like, then Ukrainians make a war crime, you know?
That's what he does in most things I've seen, and that's why, for example, calling him like a pro-Russia person probably is not exactly correct, but he does play apologia for Russia, he repeats Russian narratives,
What if he's just stupid?
That's also a possibility.
The video of the Waffen SS guy. What? This long? Because I mean, we're in the middle of another video. I don't got all day
This
here.
old man, this quaint little old man that we see in the audience.
Oh, about this guy?
Is not a Soviet veteran or like a veteran who fought against the Nazis. He's not even UPA. He's not anything else outside of the Waffen SS. He fought with the Galician, I believe it's the 12th or the 14th, I forget exactly which, Galician division, which fought against the Soviet Union during the Nazi Germany invasion, the Nazi German invasion of the Soviet Union. He volunteered in 1943. So if any of you, I saw some people trying to defend this guy, saying, oh, you don't get it, he was just fighting for his homeland. And when you sign up for the SS, and let me just be clear. It was
Fuck this motherfucker lived this long. Canada, big L on your part on this one, for sure.
Very small group of people who would try to defend this guy still. You swear fealty to Hitler. Not only do you swear fealty to Hitler, but you have to be witness to some of the worst atrocities known to man. Even if this guy Yaroslav...
Dude, also, how does motherfuckers still have hair? Usually the evil ones lose the hair.
Didn't personally participate in any war crimes, because we have yet to see any accusations brought against him specifically for war crimes, even though the division he fought in has been accused of war crimes, even if no international court has found them guilty of any. He most certainly witnessed it. And it's not like he wouldn't know what he was getting into. This isn't 1941. Germans just...
Wait, I watched a documentary. Hold on, I watched a documentary a really long time ago. Not really long time. It was somewhat recently. And it was about a Ukrainian Nazi in the United States that actually went through like this whole like court case because you get annexed to Israel. Or no, he was Hungarian. Never mind, he wasn't Ukrainian. Never mind. Completely. I just realized that. Never mind.
Across the border. Oh yeah, we hate Stalin. We'll join anybody who's fighting Stalin.
It is a really interesting documentary though. They like interviewed the guy that was like his lawyer. And he got like acid attacked or something. It was like a big deal at the time. It's a Netflix doc. I don't remember what the fuck it's called, but it's a really interesting one if you're... It's one of those ones where it's like multiple episodes and you'll get sucked in for sure. I mean, I always love, you know, court legal drama and stuff like that. It was like in the 80s or something.
This is 1943. This is 2 years in.
Yeah, they thought he was Ivan the Terrible or something like that.
Into it. Plenty of time for the SS to burn down villages, massacre people, dump them in graves, kill Jews, and be engaged in some of the most horrific violence known to man. He had plenty of time to reflect on that violence, see that violence, have the grapevine of information traveling from village to village travel to him, and then went and volunteered in 1943. So I don't want to hear anybody saying, you know, that you don't really understand, like it's actually a little different. I understand that Ukrainians didn't want to be part of the Soviet Union, but the Nazis viewed the Ukrainians as subhuman. There was no way where the Nazis won that the Ukrainians were going to get a fair shake and not have their whole country turned into quote-unquote living space for Lebensraum. So even if this guy in his mind wasn't for fighting for Hitler, you know, saw the atrocities but didn't participate and wanted to, you know, not associate himself with that, which is pretty silly. If everybody else in your unit and everybody else around you is engaging in these types of atrocities, or you're seeing that on a daily basis, it's kind of hard to remove yourself from that. But even if you accept all those premises, which I do not accept, but even if you do, the German was going to turn the breadbasket of Europe, Ukraine, into their breadbasket. They were going to push out the locals for settlers and create living space. And so...
Right. I haven't been seeing the paragraphs going back and forth, so I'm not really sure what exactly you guys are talking about, but, like, yeah, don't defend that guy. Fuck him. There's no reason to do it, and I don't want to see it, so please don't. Glairebell, how are you doing? And a new, like, badge. Or did... Who's always been there? I think I just noticed them.
Yeah, but he does do it, and intentionally or not, that's another question, right? But he does do it, and he plays up the narratives that harm us, that harm our country, that cause a lot of damage, especially considering the fact that he parrots Russian propaganda unchecked to millions of people.
Yeah.
True.
So the clip we're about to watch is Hasanabi interviewing a presidential candidate for the Democratic Party's nomination. This is Marianne Williamson. She's considered very progressive for American politics. And they're talking about the issue of sending aid to Ukraine and supporting Ukraine. And Hasanabi, when Marianne Williamson indicated that she wanted to...
I just have to reiterate, like, this isn't, like, perverted bullshit, like Hassan said it was, to, like, us watching this. Like, these people clearly have, like, well-thought-out opinions on this. It's not like a hit piece. Obviously, Anna's been very outspoken about her distaste for Hassan. I know they're all kind of content creators. Obviously, this isn't trying to say every single Ukrainian person thinks this has this opinion. And they established at the beginning. But, like, they're just saying their piece, you know?
Continue to support aid and support the Ukrainians.
So to call this perverted is so fucking ridiculous.
Bring up negotiations that happened during the start of the war with Boris Johnson and his story of events, interrupting and stopping the successful negotiations, basically avoiding a peace that could have been.
Oh, he absolutely did not watch it. Maybe he's watched it now. I haven't been up to date with my Hassan lore, but, like, I can't imagine him actually watching an hour and 40 minutes of him, like, being criticized, like, legitimately, and not, like, losing his mind and screaming at everybody.
Play the clip.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I mean, I guess I do agree that if the United States would withhold all arms from Ukraine tomorrow, that this would be absolutely devastating for Ukraine. I don't disagree with that. Except due to that reality, I think that they have a lot more power in the negotiations process in terms of, like...
Who's they?
Issuing a terms of ceasefire than, you know...
This just strikes me as sounding, like, so pro-Russia. Like, okay, so we should be saying if you don't, what, surrender to Russia, that we're not going to give you a weapon? Like, what the fuck?
What does that look like? I don't understand quite what that would look like. To whom? We don't have the power to dictate that to Putin. Who are you saying we're dictating
yeah,
this to?
well, that's why you have to have China at the table as well. But ultimately...
Xi went to Russia. We were hoping for that. I was hoping for that. Xi went to Russia. He spoke with Putin. Zelensky said, hey, call me. We were all hoping, listen, I don't care who can come up with an answer to this. And we were hoping, and they actually ended up with these quite weak principles. So,
well, there was a 15-point plan negotiated in Turkey in the earlier version of the invasion that seemingly was a little bit more prosperous. Zelensky himself even conceded to pushing Crimea later down, you know, to like a 15-year.
Yeah, love that idea that he would like that.
Year program for Crimea, where he would like have another democratic vote on how to best continue on with those negotiations. That all fell apart when Boris Johnson visited.
Stop.
Ukraine, and I don't.
And
think
did what? He just like walked around.
That England has any sort of agency in this conversation beyond operating as a mouthpiece for the American State Department.
Of course.
America bad.
So what do you guys think of his retelling of the early negotiations?
What do you guys think of Hassan's characterization of Boris Johnson's involvement in the April 2020 peace talks? That, from my understanding, all it was basically he's like, yeah, they're not going to be good faith about this shit, so don't accept it, you know? And it's like one guy saying a thing. It's like, who gives a shit? Like, you really think that like was that big of a deal? Like, again, all of this stuff, I was like, what? Like, it gives me a little bit more hope. Like, you know, obviously I was talking about how I have like an existential crisis because I've agreed with Hassan on a lot of things, but I've known for a while that he's been dog shit on fucking foreign policy. And I do feel like it's good to know that I was right with that opinion. Because it was like, I don't feel like he's right on this position. This seems like it doesn't make any sense to me. So it at least is a little bit comforting to know I'm not complete fucking retard when it comes to this shit, you know?
I think there's two main points. The first one is 2 of those 15 points.
Shit. That might be true. Has Hassan considered that Hassan might be an American puppet as well? It seems like everyone else is. True.
I don't remember if it was 15, maybe it was closer to 10. But in any case, 2 of those.
Yeah, fucking. Yeah.
Those were Ukraine is never in NATO, and we should demilitarize ourselves. Basically, have 50. No, we had 50,000 troops and no heavy weaponry, if I remember correctly.
Recognize Donbass, Crimea, all the annexed territories.
Regarding the territories, I don't know, but it was like just those 2 points. It just basically don't have any protection for us. Like, obviously, your next step. We know what's going to happen. So that was the thing. And
you know what this reminds me of? There was a lot of there was actually a lot of weird, like, anti-World War II support in the United States. Not like a lot, but like more than you would think. Where they use the exact same arguments of like, we can't send them weapons. What if it just like returns into like the Nazis are gonna get it if we do like all this type of stuff. Like, and it's like crazy to me. Then I'm hearing this shit now, like, and from Hassan no less, like an anti-imperialist type person. Like, okay, like that's so ridiculous.
And I remember that some of the points were agreed to, but not the main ones, which were like military and stuff. And that's what Putin and Zelensky were supposedly needed to discuss in Turkey. But Boris Johnson has nothing to do with it. I think the timeline is completely wrong.
Yes.
Johnson was after this agreement.
No. He was. The agreement started already. I researched that shit. It was in several parts, the agreement. And first of all, they couldn't agree on anything. So they said that there's no point. The next agreement was Zelensky was kind of willing.
Does Anna have like, Anastasia, does she have like a social media? I think they showed it at the beginning. I think she's a YouTube or something. I don't know. I'll look it up later. I think she just posts on Twitter, maybe. I like her vibe.
To not postpone the Crimea question and maybe consider not being part of NATO. Maybe.
I want to follow
Although all sides were saying that those negotiations are not going anywhere because Russians in particular.
Well, all of them, I like their vibe. I like this guy, and this guy's funny too. This guy just hasn't been saying much, but I mean, I like all of them, but whatever.
Were bombing cities at the time. They also made
Bucha happened, right?
Bucha happened a week after Boris. Yeah. So Bucha is before Boris came, a week before he.
Oh, this is her. Okay. I'm always so fucking worried about opening Twitter on stream, and I've explained it like a million times, but like, yeah, I'll follow her. But she did pay for the blue checky, so maybe she is a Nazi. I'm just kidding. Wait, why did it just make me unfollow? What? What the fuck just happened? I hit the follow button and... Oh, never mind. It was just a... surprise. Twitter's buggy.
But it happened before the agreements got cancelled completely.
No, after. Yeah, that's exactly the timeline I'm trying to...
I mean, even if she paid for it, I don't care. I was just making a joke.
established, basically. So plenty of other people.
Wait, Bucha happened before
Boris, yeah.
Yes, a week before Boris came. So basically what happened is this, that we were talking about this whole subject back and forth, negotiations, he presented as if we wanted it. We were just desperate. That's what we were trying to fix this situation. But many people, French Prime Minister, Estonian Prime Minister said that this is unreasonable before Boris came here. They said that Putin cannot be negotiated with. They said the same thing that Boris said. The same thing all of us already knew.
I remember reading that Boris quote was very mild. He wasn't like saying like you can agree on everything you want.
He quotes the Ukrainian Pravda article, which is our journal. Basically, they kind of rephrase what he said, and they said that he said you can negotiate with him. He's a war criminal. He didn't say this publicly, supposedly. He only said it backstage, basically. So that's what he's building upon this whole.
It's funny how Ukraine is so adamant returning all of the territories, but Boris Johnson just swoops in and changes everything.
Yeah, also the funny fact is, again, disregards Ukrainian agency completely, doesn't care about anything, and also doesn't...
That's his favorite thing. Hassan's favorite thing is to completely downplay Ukraine's own agency. And, kind of infantilizing it in a way. It's really weird. It's it doesn't have the same, level of power, but, hey, thank you for the gifties! The 2 tier 1 gifties from Nigma. You get 2 Les Slippers and Snake Charmer. Thank you for the gifties.
Doesn't mention Bucha, which was one of the main reasons actually, because we liberated Bucha the week before Boris Johnson came here, and Naftali Bennett, I think, is the name of the Israeli guy who came here. He came here and he said there's a 50-50 chance of negotiation, but then he publicly said that after Bucha it's not possible. And that article Hassan quotes, first reason they say is Bucha. Second one, they say potentially the influence of the war.
I do think I should also say for the record that the article he's talking about is a Pravda piece.
Yeah,
it's an undisclosed private, we don't know who exactly source it is, an anonymous source, and I believe it was a second-hand source, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but he's so thirsty to jump on it, to accuse the West. He even calls England the mouthpiece for United States. He's so thirsty. Yeah, but people like Boris primarily because in Ukraine he was one of the most popular.
I only have 45 minutes, so I'm trying to not pause if you're wondering why, because I think we're gonna have to do it part 3.
People, I believe, at the time, because his statements were quite condemning, basically, of Russia. He was not doing he was not doing the Germany thing, the France thing, all fraternal nations, brotherly nations. Yeah. He was not doing any of that. He was very straightforward. Putin is a war criminal. Ukraine needs our support, and of course, people love it. So obviously, right? Because that's what we care about.
Well, it's this. Sometimes people misjudged. For example, Russian shills like to say Zelensky is an authoritarian leader, but no, he's a populist. He just our leaders don't rule Ukrainian people. The Ukrainian people rule our leaders because Zelensky.
You actually have a fucking democracy. Crazy, right?
He was pretty cocked as a candidate. I hated him as a candidate. He was pretty cocked.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Zelensky and what he this is my understanding as well, is that he wasn't really that popular, and he really fucking showed his stripes when he was I'm not gonna leave. America's yo, you gotta leave. He was no, I'm not gonna fucking leave. That was pretty based of him.
His platform was,
Don't maybe the biggest Zelensky thing. Be careful. Be careful.
Z.
Yeah. He's Z, but big Zelensky.
But Zelensky platform was maybe we should stop shooting. Maybe we should not respond.
Yeah, but
don't retaliate.
But that was what that was the approach at the time, that we thought that it would look at the whole West. They thought that you could agree with Putin, and now Zelensky knows for a fact that you can't. And look how strong of a leader he is.
Guys,
it's fucking awesome.
Do you believe, as I believe, that
Zelensky
in the beginning of his term was too naive, and he really thought that he might stop shooting and everything will stop?
I don't think it was too naive. I think we all were naive because we were almost like 8 years in the war, or like we were in war with Russia from 2014. We just kind of fucking forgot about it. I'm ashamed personally.
Because I didn't, but okay.
Yeah, because I lived like as if that never happened, and
many people did.
And when this war happened, like to a lot of people, it was a surprise.
The only thing,
even though it shouldn't have been.
I really don't like that Zelensky did that. I can definitely point out was bad. Maybe it was a mistake on his point. Maybe he was trying to fix some stuff. But remember when at the beginning when Americans were like, Russia is going to invade, and he was like, why are you so in panic?
I don't think that was a mistake. I think that was a calculated
I think
move.
that made us look very, very good.
Can I ask you guys a quick question? Because I want to ask you guys two questions. But the first one's on this. Even though it's off topic, I think it's good because a lot of Westerners don't see this. How many of you guys, and I don't know if you want to share this, did you guys, who here voted for Zelensky or didn't vote for Zelensky?
Absolutely, all the way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
You did it? You did it? Did you vote for Zelensky?
I didn't vote. I am ashamed of it. I am ashamed of it, but yes,
Look at him.
unfortunately, I changed a lot for the last
You're welcome.
2 years.
You're welcome, guys.
And you voted for Zelensky.
Yes.
So let's get to the last thing. Now, this is a somewhat bigger one, but this is the whole reason we did this. So Hassan and his co-host on a podcast, Ethan Klein, also known as H3H3.
Hold on, I gotta go pee. I'm ready for this. I always love H3 related content. Mic was in the way. You could have had dog cam the whole time. But my chair was in the way. I love like when my friends just leave their clothes at my house, and I get to like have like new styles of things that I would never have thought of doing. This one is like really open on the back, and it's kind of a vibe. Sorry. Moving on. Let's get ready for the H3 part. Seems more honest. Yeah, I mean, he definitely seems way more, I mean, I have, like, undying respect for Zelensky of, like, he had the option to leave and he fucking stayed. Like, that's Giga Chad shit. Because there was no guarantee that, you know, he would have been killed for sure. Like, if Kiev would have been taken. Like, it wasn't for, like, insane incompetence from the Russian military, he would have been killed.
Started debating a whole host of topics, including Taiwan and the topic of the Russian invasion of Ukraine came up. And Ethan knew that Hassan, had possibly been criticized for this before, and he wanted to hear his opinions, and they started going back and forth. And he talked about the Boris Johnson thing, so this is something he does still believe. He repeats this here.
Yeah, he continues.
This is months after the Marianne Williamson interview. And he talks about a few other things, like how weapons are just contributing to the bloodshed. And later we have some more stuff to show. I don't want to
I'm sorry,
too much
Dylan, before you push the button,
Yeah?
please tell me you included the clip when he says you have to force Ukraine to negotiate.
I did not.
I love that. As like I'm saying that sarcastically, of course. Like, the idea of forcing, like, this is like just Russia's fault, this whole conflict. Like Hassan likes to talk about it like it's like a two-side thing, like, oh, well, you need to just compromise. No, you don't need to fucking compromise. Fuck you. It's Russia's problem. Like, they started this shit. Just fucking leave. I don't really know what a solution looks like, but I don't think that a lot of people, share the position where it's like, but it's his shit, like, it's Russia, like, not the Russian people, of course, but like, just leave. Just stop. You can just stop at any time. This isn't like we have to find a solution. No, just leave. Just stop doing it. Like, it's not complicated in a way of like being like, okay, so there's complication when it comes to like the occupied territories, obviously, you know, all that type of stuff. But like, it's to act like it's two people who are having a discussion on like the same grounds is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, you have to negotiate. It's like, you don't really have to fucking negotiate. It would be great if, you know, the conflict ended, but like, it's their fucking land. They want to defend their own country. They have every single fucking right to do it. And the idea that they need to like stop doing it is ridiculous. Let them defend their own country. And I think that we should support that.
Not include that clip, but you can talk about it when
that's a gem. That's my favorite bit.
There's so much, and I have to make the tough calls.
Special.
Yeah, absolutely insane demands. Like, so unrealistic from what I've heard about what he wanted.
I'll mention, okay?
Okay, you can mention it if you want at any point.
Let's talk about Ukraine, and then that's my final one.
Okay.
So we were talking about Ukraine, and your position was that the support for Ukraine is 100% manufactured.
No.
That's what you said last time.
No, I think that all matter of American foreign policy is greatly influenced by manufactured consent because of our interest in.
Hold up. Oh shit! I don't have it open still. Fuck. I didn't make it into a command. I meant to. Chicken, are you still here? And do you still have? Oh no, you posted it in the Discord. Hold on. Yep. Yeah, it's part of the bingo. Hold on. I think it's in the Discord. Oh no, did he not post in the Discord? Shit. I thought he saved it as a... We got manufactured consent. I know for a fucking fact that shit was on there. Oh my god, I lost the link. No! How did I do this? I thought he posted it in the Discord. Probably have it somewhere, motherfucker. Or I'll look for it while we keep going.
You know, doing whatever the fuck we want to do there, whether it be like bringing Ukraine into the Western sphere of influence, or you know, it's not genuine because they want like genuine emancipation for Ukrainians.
So last time you guys compared it, you said, well, nobody gave a fuck about Georgia.
Oh, here we go. Oh, fuck. Well, that's not great because I filled out all of that, but I found the link to it at least.
Yeah, when that got invaded.
Or this specific one.
You know, the fact that anyone cares about Ukraine feels like manufactured.
It's not even just Georgia.
But you guys know but you guys realize there's like a massive. I didn't know anything about the Georgian War. I learned about it. There's a huge difference. You guys understand?
Well, I mean, the scale is.
It was a 5-day war.
Yeah, it was
they expected Ukraine to drop in 5 days, and if it did, we probably wouldn't be talking about it. Because
that's true. That's true.
So, like, what happened was Ukraine mounted this miraculous defense, and they've got Russia, a fascist country, on the.
Dude, him laughing there, I feel is so gross. Like, you know how we watched that Benny interview, and she's like, like with her laugh. Obviously, her laugh is more annoying, but like the inappropriate times that you laugh, I feel like they laugh when they're like, it's almost like a, oh shit, you're fucking making a good point. We call it the tanky laugh.
That's true. That's true.
So like what happened was Ukraine mounted this miraculous defense, and they've got Russia, a fascist country.
Miraculous. He laughs after miraculous defense. That is so inappropriate time to like have a little bit of a little laugh. Like, I don't know. Should I read into that more? Just something to think about, I guess.
on the back foot. And we all like when fascism.
I don't think Russia is on the back foot. I think it's just like extending the harm. And only.
Fucking hate when people say this type of shit. Like extending the harm.
Furthering conflict.
We inflicted so much.
Okay, so
remember in the first video he was saying Russia would never invade because it's gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
Now Russia is not even on a back foot. They're like doing well.
Because now he pushes.
Yeah, how does he like cartwheels his way into just being like mega pro-Russia? I don't understand his ideology when it comes to this type of shit.
The narrative that if supporting Ukraine now will only prolong the war.
Yeah.
So it will, that's his element of the train.
Yeah, I fucking hate that goddamn argument. It's so bullshit.
Right now.
What do you think about that? Because that's something that he's against. He said this before, and they talk about this during
What
this.
do you think of the idea that the U.S. sending weapons and aid prolongs the suffering of the Ukrainian people? It was in quotes. Yeah.
But he's against aid because he believes it prolongs the suffering of the Ukrainian people.
That's ridiculous. I always thought that was fucking ridiculous. And again, it's good for me personally to know that I wasn't like completely misled. My criticisms that I had then were absolutely valid. And so I'm not like completely like brain fucked by I'm not. I should have more confidence in my positions, I guess.
What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, also the manufactured consent bit, I think, is one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as well, but let's start with that one.
Absolutely stupid, silly thought. People here are so anti-Russia, so they're anti-war in a sense that they want it to stop, but only on our terms of getting what is ours. And if we're not going to have weapons, there's just going to be way more Ukrainians that are going to die in pursuit of that. Yeah. And there's
I mean, the fucking occupied territory, like the fucking mass graves that have been like revealed, like, yeah, I'm sure the Ukrainians will be really good under Russian occupation.
Nothing the West can change about that. There is nothing.
Sure. If we surrender, let's say American forces Zelensky to surrender our territory, okay, the hot war will turn into...
Sorry, not being a pre-watch, Andy, I promise.
First of all, a concentration camp. Ukraine is gonna be just a concentration camp for Ukrainians.
This is what's so crazy. Like people, like he says he supports like the Palestinian people, but like literally, if Ukraine got the fucking Gaza treatment, it's not the same thing, but you know what I mean. You think that Russia wouldn't do some Israel shit? Like, it's so inconsistent with Hassan's, not his, sorry, but like Hassan's positions.
Open air prison, you mean?
Like an open air prison. And second, the war will not be over. It's gonna be just guerrilla warfare. It's gonna be car bombs. It's gonna be assassinations. It's gonna be
something similar to like the Irish Troubles, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that ironically, if Zelensky gonna do that, he's doomed. Like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people.
Yes.
Actually, let me ask that question quick before we turn over to you. If Zelensky was tomorrow to say, for peace, we're giving the...
Do you think there are circumstances in which you think it would be acceptable to concede territory to Russia in order to achieve peace? That's a good question.
Russians, Mariupol, we're going to give the Donetsk, Luhansk, Russia here.
We won't let them. That's the thing.
We
Ukrainians
and the
won't let them do
soldiers,
this.
I talk with them a lot. They will never go.
They are we together, we all Ukrainians.
We are all people.
I think Ukraine did a fantastic job in their informational campaign for the war, in drumming up support for Ukraine, but also kind of explaining to Ukrainians what this whole thing means, and that Russia will never stop, and we have to stop them here and now. That we're kind of like the whole population is so. I feel like they didn't want to repeat the mistake of 2014 because they know if it's not gonna finish right now, it's gonna happen again. I think just population will just never agree to that.
Yeah, because we have this experience since 2014. We know how it is to negotiate with Russia. It's useless. It's fucking useless. And those negotiations in the beginning, the first days of war, it was just a fucking ultimatum from Russia's side. They never stepped back on a single point, Right. But this is fucking useless. And giving something up to Russia, it's not an option, and we all Ukrainians understand that.
And also, I would like to point out that I hear that a lot, not only from Hassan, but in general, that many people who are peaceniks, so to speak, who are pro-peace, they say that violence needs to stop, and they do this gross appeal to like Ukrainian lives. I worry about Ukrainian lives, and I would like to point out that stopping the war right now does not stop the violence. Our area, Kherson, part of Zaporizhia, Donbass, all of those areas are still occupied. People are still suffering there from imprisonment, from torture, from rape, from all sorts of abuse, and leaving them, people in occupied areas, is leaving them to suffer. And it's not going to stop the violence at anyhow, even if we, it's just...
Would any of you say that living under occupation is a type of peace or anything?
No.
Until you get a... Yeah, exactly. It really just like, be like, okay, well, I'll just do the same thing again. You know, like, Putin's not really, like, giving a shit about the consequences, of course, of what's happening. It's like, so it worked the first time, I'm going to continue to do it. And it's like, why wouldn't he just do it again? Like, it doesn't matter how, like, many inches it's going to be, they're just going to do it again. Lives of soldiers of the invading force? Absolutely. Would you consider living under Russian occupation a type of peace?
No. I prefer being bombed.
Yes.
And I live in a city that is bombed.
But that's a hypothetical that is very stretchy, because like even let's say people are living under occupation, there won't be peace because Russia broke every peace deal they made.
Yes.
Because it started. Remember Ilovaisk? We negotiated the.
In late September 2014, Ukrainian armed forces battled pro-Russian separatists for control of the town of Ilovaisk in the border region of Donetsk, eastern Ukraine. By September, the separatists, who won a resounding victory, routed the retreating Ukrainian army. Even as the battle was ongoing, however, allegations swirled that regular units of Russian army had joined the battle on the side of the separatists. So, like, actual, like, Russian army people, tipping the balance decisively in their favor. Russia denies the charges, but in what became a watershed moment for open source investigation, communications of researchers, reporters, and citizen journalists gathered substantial and compelling open source evidence for the presence of the Russian military in the region. So when people say it's just a separatist movement, it wasn't just that.
Green corridor, so our troops were pull out, they shot the shit out of them.
Most Westerners have no clue what happened.
Yes.
I feel like you can ask any Ukrainian, so I'll just ask Ukrainians over here. Would you rather live in Ukraine that is currently under war, or would you rather live in peaceful Russia?
Ukraine,
I feel like
Russia is a prison camp.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like you ask any Ukrainian.
Not even a question.
I do want to talk about the second thing.
Yeah, it's like, would you want to live in... This is, like, kind of funny because it's, like relating to Hassan, like, when Ethan asked him, do you want to live in China, like, Hassan was incredibly, like, I guess, resistant to the idea. And it's like, because he knows. He doesn't want to live in fucking China. He wants to live in America because, oh, I wonder why. Because it's America. America is the best country in the fucking world. I will always say that. Does it do bad things? Absolutely. Is it the best when it comes to, I think, liberty and freedom? Yes. We need to fix our shit, but it is the best country in the world, in my opinion.
He mentioned, and that was
also specifically because we're not Canada.
manufacturing consent.
Yeah.
This has to do with a novel written by Noam Chomsky.
Yep. My BR confirmation. Oh, absolutely. I understand that. That's fair. Just say.
Was a known American socialist author.
Yeah, I mean, I acknowledged that at the beginning of this, where it's like, or when we started talking or watching this at the beginning, where it's like, yeah, I understand. Like, these people also probably have very, like, similar ideologies because, you know, they're friends. Obviously, I have similar ideology to Dylan Burns, so it's absolutely going to have a low level of confirmation bias. But I don't think it's not useful to hear this type of stuff. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people, I'm sure, in Ukraine that don't want that, but. Like, okay. But yeah, I absolutely acknowledge that And also, these are younger people. Maybe older people might have a different perspective. All that type of stuff. You know, it's not like a fucking perfect sample size here at all.
A linguist.
And his grandpa.
I mean, again, I don't really know what these three people are doing. I know Anna does a lot of like. I think she does. She's not a soldier herself, but I think that she does like some sort of logistical work. I don't remember. I don't know if anyone can remember, but like she like helps to like transport medicine or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not take that with a grain of salt. I don't really remember, but I know she is interacting with soldiers often. I don't remember for what exact reasons. She doesn't seem like she's like a content creator really, so I assume she's just like some sort of support.
Yeah, he does have
Oh, which one's Rick? Is this one Rick? Or is this one Rick? Or is this one Rick? I'm sorry, I've forgotten their names. The Mask. Oh, this is Rick. Okay. In his spare time, some translation of Ukrainian journalists who interview POWs. Gotcha. Anna does a lot of fundraising and distributes. Right, that's what it is. She distributes gear to soldiers. Yeah, so she's actively, you know, contribute. I mean, I assume they all are in their own way. Of course they are. They're there, but it's not that crazy to think that they have a at least decent understanding of what, you know, their fellow country people think.
Doesn't say again.
But this is an extension of an argument he's been making, which is that the reason why America supports Ukraine isn't because of our love for their struggle of freedom, but because we have self-serving interests, maybe something like we want oil in Ukraine.
My response to this would be like, who gives a fuck?
Ukraine, or we want, you know, to expand NATO.
Yeah, what do you think of the argument that America is only helping Ukraine out of selfish self-interest?
We want to bring, you know, Ukraine into, you know, the Western sphere.
And
so his argument is it's cynical. We shouldn't be, we're doing it for selfish reasons, and that's bad.
I will say, I heard you say, I think, when we watched the clip, you said, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
That's my argument. I don't care what motivation is of our allies. If they help us with liberating ourselves, with preserving our nation, saving ourselves from annihilation as a nation, right?
Yes.
I don't care.
I do care, but I feel like it's also important to understand what is the motivation. And I feel like the motivation that Western countries have are completely justifiable, completely normal, and I would agree with them, and I would want the same for my country.
Yeah, in principle, I don't care. If someone...
Yeah, like, we do so much bad shit. The United States does so much fucking bad shit for the interests of, like, I don't know, capital or whatever. The fact that we're doing it anyways, right? So, like, the fact that we can actually do our bad shit and it be positive, big fucking dub. Like, I can't believe anyone would ever use that as an argument. Like, yeah, I don't fucking care. Like, either. Like, I don't care how fucking selfish it is. If you do a good thing, this is like the lefty, like, trapdoor hole or something like that. I think a lot of people, like, fall into, where it's like, oh, well, you make money talking about politics, so then, like, you're bad because you're like, I don't really... You can use that argument when it comes to, like, their general, like, how genuine they are. That's fine. That's totally fair. It's a complete fair critique. But the concept of, oh, you make money doing politics inherently means that the only reason that you're talking about, like, left-wing shit or whatever is because you're making money is, like, such a fucking brain trap that people fall into, like, so often on the left. And I don't know why that is the case. It's like a complete, like, lack of logic there. You split on pro-Russia or pro-West when it comes to the future of their country now, with the exceptions of a few collaborators. They're all, yeah, I would imagine. Like, I can't imagine, like, people are like, yes, please invade and kill me, my country, take over my country, you know? It's like, makes sense, you know? Pretty much everyone's going to be anti-Russia, of course. And I think that there's probably a lot of like weird racism against like Russian citizens, and that's understandable to say the least. I think it's still wrong, but like, of course you're gonna have that perspective. I don't think that it's that bad from what I've seen, but you know, of course people are gonna have vitriol. Has a vested financial interest, and he consistently accuses everyone else of having. Well, you're kind of doing the thing though. I don't think that Hassan says the dumb shit that he says for money. I think he says it for like some other weird reason. The result is good. Something it doesn't matter. Are anti-Zionist for religious reasons still? Huh? Oh, I see what you're saying. Orthodox are anti-Zionist for religious reasons still based. Gotcha. Yeah. Like, I don't really give a shit. If you want good things, you want good things. Obviously, there is, at some point, it is important to acknowledge people's reasoning behind things, duh. But, like, in general, I don't really give a fuck. Like, if you're doing a good thing for, then with, like, I don't know, sinister means, like, and I don't even really think it's, like, that sinister. Like, if you're gonna be cynical, it's like, okay, the military-industrial complex, it's like, okay, fine. That's gonna happen anyways. But like, that's not the main thing. It just happens to be a little bit of a dub there, I guess, on their end.
I don't like the country I don't like gave us aid. I will accept it.
No, even the countries that I do like.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that if their idea is to not let Russia expand further,
that's good for us,
to secure the territory so that they would be secure in every scenario, we also win.
Yes.
So I don't.
Not only us as well, Georgia, Moldova, other countries.
Yeah, true. And it's like it's a very simple argument. We already saw that from 2014. Russia doesn't stop unless it's stopped. If nobody's gonna stop them, if US is not gonna give weapons, US is far away, so you may feel secure unless you look at the other side of the map and then you see that Russia and the US are very close to each other. But if Russia is gonna capture more and more countries, it's gonna grow. Their imperialist influence is gonna grow, and you never know what might happen next. Maybe they will.
Yeah, they talk about like this, like Russia. Hassan talks about it a lot, like multipolar world order. Yeah. So basically, he's like Russia, America, and China, and things like that. And dude, if we understand, all of us here understand, there are bigger players, right? Ukraine is not one of those bigger players. Right. I so much prefer the Western influence and the Western way of doing like imperialism or whatever he thinks they do, right? Or they do in reality. Because when America imperialist, he says, I debated with people, and they're like, they will install like their like McDonald's or some shit. It's already here, by the way, but that's their idea of imperialism. When Russian imperialism is my father being in bits on the balcony. Also quite important to point out that people bring up things like Vietnam.
That made me sad. She's right. It's the exact same position I hold. And it sounds like, like America, exceptionalism. And to some extent it is. But let's be real here. We know that's true. Like, obviously what we did in fucking Afghanistan was disgusting. In, Iraq, whatever. In the Middle East. I need to research that whole conflict a little bit better, because I feel like what I remember from it is so bits and pieces that I didn't understand at the time, so why would I understand it now? And yeah, it is very much American exceptionalism to an extent, and that's like, okay, a little much, but he's not wrong.
Things like that happened half a century ago.
Where two parts of Vietnam fought each other.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that what Russia did is recent. Moldova, Georgia, Ukraine, and not to mention the fact that he doesn't respect, you already said it, doesn't respect sovereignty and borders, so he doesn't care. But there is a big difference between...
So you're saying Hassan would be okay if America took part of Vietnam?
Probably not. So basically he doesn't make a significant, huge difference. Why so people, speaking of manufactured consent, One of the reasons why people are so interested in Ukraine, genuinely, right, is because wars like that are rare, especially in Europe, when there's ground invasion, when there is occupation, when there is annexation of the territory, when you grab the territory and you make it your own, you place a flag there. This is rare in 21st century, at least in Europe, pretty much anywhere, to be honest, right? And this is, I don't understand how, again, proclaimed anti-imperialists cannot see the huge difference between those things. Not to say that American invasions were all based and amazing, obviously not. But yeah, but it's a big difference.
About the manufacturing consent, yeah. As much as it breaks my, not as much as it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that Georgia was like rolled over in 5 days. It breaks my heart that Moldova.
I don't know like enough about the Georgian war thing. I assume that's why they thought they could, because I didn't think Georgia. I don't know anything about this. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna go into that. I'll have to look that up. I'll write it down to look into.
Was partly occupied by Russians in Transnistria. That Chechnya was like leveled and all of that, and the world couldn't help them. But like I thank God every day that. Yeah, this manufactured consent like benefits us.
Yeah,
as we are like first of all rich, second of all our geopolitical.
Big.
Yeah, we're big and we're like border Poland separate Europe from Russia.
I will also not remove our amazing generals who did stop Russians. Our politicians who did scream to the whole world that is happening. I think
both Poroshenko and Zelensky.
There's a lot of
journalist work as well.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. There's a lot of moving parts.
This guy looks so much like a friend of mine, whose name is also coincidentally Dylan. But this is just a weird personal note. Like I feel like I have like so much like. I like this guy a lot just because he really, well, he's saying a lot of good things, but also it's because he looks like a friend of mine.
Ethan is based, by the way, because he's like that. Georgia was taken like in 3 days. That's why we don't talk about it.
And he's sassy. He's good. Well.
And if Ukraine was leveled in like a week, we also would not be talking.
That's what Russians plan.
Yeah,
precisely because of that reason, right?
Let's go a little bit further.
Yep.
There's still more we gotta watch with this, and then I want to ask a few questions at the end. So I want to leave time for questions.
Yep.
And I stand with the Ukrainian people because. I think Ukraine is a force for good in the world. They're
Can I just stop you for a second? Because you said
Can I stop you for a second? You're saying it's a force for good. Let me stop you. It's really losing the optics war on that one. He really fucked up by doing this whole show with Ethan. And I wonder if it's because Ethan saw, I mean it has to be, right? Like that Ethan saw all of like the things that I was seeing and was like, I gotta call this motherfucker out on this shit.
100% manufacturer consent. Like
that's what you said.
Nothing is genuine. I said 100% manufacturing consent is a like leading role in this.
If you want to amend
and the reason why.
Okay, what is the definition of manufacturer consent? My understanding is it's just like, oh yeah, everyone likes it. Consent. Oh my god, why can I not spell like literally anything? The Political, Economic, and Mass Media is a 1988 book. Oh, that's a book. Wait, ah! I don't know if this is what I'm looking for. It argues that the mass communication media in the U.S. are effective and powerful ideological institutions that carry out systems supportive propaganda function by... Sorry, I was like hiccuping. Reliance on market forces, internalized assumptions, and self-censorship. And without overt coercion. Okay, this just seems like some weird tanky shit. Oh no, I got hiccups. For terrorist attacks against the U.S., so we had to go in. As soon as we left, it collapsed, so they immediately began stripping women of rights and removing them from... Right, because we did the whole thing where, you know, religious fundamentalists take over because that's just what they had, you know. Convincing folks to do a thing, it is basically meaningless. Chomsky credits the origin of the book to... Wait, what? Wait, is it just because of the book, or does the term actually mean something? Because I don't know if this is the right thing. Right, right. But I'm saying, like, the fact that they were left with a black hole because of what we did. Like, it's like how Hamas came to power in a way, It is just kind of the way it goes, typically. That's the right thing. What the fuck? Why does Oxford reference want to know where I am? What the fuck would this website do with that information? Why the fuck does it want to know? Oh fuck, we don't have a lot of time. God damn it, we're almost out of time. Hopefully, I don't think Rachel's back yet, so maybe we'll have a little bit more time. And thinks everything is based around. Yeah, that's kind of the vibes I was getting too. Like, it's just like, okay, so you just that makes sense, because I know tankies love doing that shit where they just do the appeal to authority, where I read a book that said this, so it must apply to everything, and think like, yeah, like what you said, everything around it is based. Is to get it to think a certain way, so they think they agree. It's not meaningless. It's an elaborate theory behind propaganda. Right. That's what okay. So I get what you're saying. So it's like, it's just like talking about propaganda, and sure, that absolutely happens. Like specifically more like on the right. You know what I mean? And it's really odd for them to for somebody to use that term in like a way that I think that it doesn't apply. Like, he is saying that it's, if he's going to use the term manufactured consent, that does then imply that he's saying that it's illegitimate or drummed up or whatever, right? Tried to assassinate Bush's dad, also gassed a fuck ton of his own people to eliminate the Kurds. That doesn't surprise me. And the U.S. started the war under false pretenses. Saddam was actually pretty evil. Well, that's when we did like Desert Storm, right? Because we watched that yesterday. Made a presence there. The majority of that war is a lot less clear, but pulling out of Afghanistan turned out really awful, so who knows? I mean, I think it was a good thing that we did pull out of Afghanistan. I don't think that best plan to do it, but so it's a concept. Bombed us? Saddam bombed the United States? What? Oh, us. You're in Israel. Sorry. I forgot. No, you're good. That was my bad. We got out of fucking Afghanistan. That's true. Not like we did it the best way, but it was Trump's fucking plan, so whatever. Yeah, we gotta look into that more. Or I don't know that much time. Let's try and get through the video.
No. The reason why I take issue with this is because it's like stating like, I don't give a fuck about Ukraine. Of course I give a fuck about people in Ukraine. I want the war and the.
I always felt like it seemed so disingenuous when he would say that, and then he'd be like, "But
bloodshed, the unnecessary bloodshed to end." Okay, my assessment.
Yeah, this has like always been a red flag with like the unnecessary, like that like talking point. It's like when Republicans say that. Like, I think that's maybe what it like trips my sussy meter, which is why I'm glad I had like a, you know, it wasn't, the wool wasn't pulled over my eyes in that one, where it was like it trips my sussy meter because it sounds so much like how like right wingers talk when they're like, I care about trans people, but you know, like it's like kind of like that type of like wording, and it's like, I know that shit, okay? I know that type of like bullshit, you know? Where it's like, yeah, I care about trans people, that's why they all need to get like conversion therapy or whatever fucking dumbass like right wingers think. Like, it gives me that type of like that vibe. You know what I mean?
Situation might deviate from you know, NATO like bloodthirsty NATO defenders or
love the rhetoric, bloodthirsty NATO defenders or whatever. Bloodthirsty NATO defenders. What the fuck?
feel like we shouldn't even be doing anything in Ukraine.
No, I don't.
Nothing.
No, I don't. I think
you don't think so.
I think that of course there's a necessary intervention that must happen. I'm not saying.
Okay, so now he's like hiding behind like weird word, like phrases, like necessary intervention. What the fuck does that mean? This is the Weasley little liar dude rhetoric.
Saying that at all. I mean, I've fucking raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Ukrainian refugees. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh, and there he goes.
This is such a silly fucking thing that, like, not from you.
It's not from you, but it's really silly when people criticize me because I did like a charity stream, so I can just say whatever the fuck I want.
But I hear so much from dipshits online.
Well, let's
want to fucking cut propaganda.
Hassan's card. He throws down the dono shield card, the most powerful of all cards.
You can say
suck my dick.
I mean, yeah. Again, good thing that he did it. Even if he wanted it as a shield, I don't give a fuck. Like, do a good thing. Love that.
You know?
So you do believe that America's actions in Ukraine are?
I mean, he's not that rich. I don't think that about, but you know, whatever. I mean, I think crowdsourcing stuff is good. Because for one, it's utilizing your audience in a productive way, and I think that like there's a lot of complications with like really big like independent donations, like on like different like weird like tax bullshit and accounting, all that type of stuff, you know. So I mean, I don't think that's too crazy to want your audience to, you know, be the ones contributing more than just like cutting a check. I see what you're saying though.
The right ones.
I think that America's actions to a certain degree in Ukraine is understandable. It's reasonable, certainly what the Ukrainian people want, but I think America's interest in Ukraine is not genuine. It's not genuine.
Who cares?
Emancipation. It's more so a continuation of the bloodshed, which is demonstrated not by me, but by American politicians like Chris Murphy, who have openly said.
Name drop. Maybe we need to do a Hassan bingo thing. I don't have time to do it today, but that's a really fun thing to do. Specifically a Hassan bingo card. Because I've noticed a lot of patterns of the way that he speaks, especially when he's being weaselly. I don't know if he realizes it, but he like has a very, very specific way of going about it, which is very tanky adjacent, if not like, you know, crossover. But like when you know he's lying, he uses a lot of phrases and like euphemisms that I think that we could do with a Hassan bingo card. I'll write that down too. We'll make that at some point. All right, it's on my note cards.
Said on the record that for 5% of our military,
which is a little less than I thought. Well, I mean, like that's not like liquid assets, right? You know, like it really depends on like his sponsorship deal, his merch. I could see him being around that. I think Ethan's worth like. It depends like what metric you're at. I think Ethan's more rich than Hassan is, but Ethan's also married, and Hila is also, you know, part of the factor there, and she's very successful with Teddy Fresh. So I definitely think that Ethan's like richer than him. That wasn't even really part of the conversation. I don't know why I brought it up, but like it wouldn't surprise me that Hassan would be worth like around 8. I would say between 5 to 10. I know his house is like $3 million, so that's like you know, if we're talking about like his worth. And Hassan is painfully single, I guess. It's kind of crazy to be like. I guess a lot of streamers are like that. Like, most of the big streamers are single. Like, Mizkev, Hassan. Chat dude, check out dude. Why am I like not remembering his name? XQC, there we go. I was like, why can't I remember his fucking name? XQC, like, I mean, I think it, Asmongold. Zerka. That is true. Girls are icky. Oh, absolutely. I mean, Ethan's like living the most trad ass life, dude. He's got like fucking he's got 2 kids, and he's got his wife's pregnant with their third. Living in a great life, having a consistent job. Like, Ethan's living in the most trad life. There's something wrong with Twitch streamers. Maybe I should go to YouTube. But I don't care either. Yeah, I have not heard that, but yeah, I don't really care either. Is XQC dating somebody? I don't really keep up with any of these people. I know that whole thing with Adept, where they were like, kind of married. I'm a little confused on that, but I don't know if that ever resolved. They're afraid of their in-laws. And all of them combined. Amaranth is incredibly wealthy, but the thing is, like, her money was managed by, like, an abusive piece of shit that probably stole a bunch from her, like, as an individual. So, I really wonder what her finances look like, but I know she is incredibly successful. Just watch the stream. That is true. If you are single, the best thing you could do is stream for, like, 9 hours a day. Well, Destiny, though, is not single. And he streams often, so I guess that's not really a good example. I bet she made more. Yeah, I wish the best for Amaranth. She seems like a good person. And I really hate what she's been subjected to. Not only, like, the online bullshit, but obviously, like, in a relationship. Like, having somebody threaten to kill, like, your dogs, like, really is upsetting. What? Like, Miskiv, Hassan, dude, check out, dude. Why am I, like, not remembering his name? Like, I think I had to do cha-da-da.
Budget, we've been able to cripple a force by American politicians like Chris Murphy, who have openly.
He always says, like Chris Murphy. Who the fuck is Chris Murphy? It's like a weird thing, like, it's like a psychological trick to, like, make it seem like, because you probably don't know who Chris Murphy is, because who gives a shit about Chris Murphy? Like, that you feel like, oh, I'm less informed than this guy because he's name dropping. It's like an appeal to authority type of thing. Calls out Israel for killing massive numbers of Palestinians. Okay, I love that. He's a Democrat. It seems from New York. Like, it's those rhetorical tricks that, like, I'm picking up on.
Said on the record that for 5% of our military budget, we've been able.
Is it 5? No, that's still like. What? Sorry.
Able to cripple a foreign adversary's military budget without a single American service member dying in the process. What? I would say that is profoundly successful.
Cool.
What are we doing in Ukraine?
Based.
We're sending our refurbished old weapons and weapon systems to Ukraine. We have to replenish those weapon systems. It's a never-ending cycle.
Wait, I was with him, and then he's gonna go into the military-industrial complex. Like, again, we gotta do like that Hassan bingo so much because it always comes down to those things.
The reason I ask is because there seems to be a somewhat of a sentiment in the left circles or social. I don't know how to even describe it. I don't know, but that the proxy war people say in Ukraine is unjustified.
War.
No, I know, but there's
How? One of them's directly involved. How is it a proxy war? If it's a proxy between Russia and America, like, I mean, you could maybe say that, I guess, but I don't think that it's like a cut and dry. It is a proxy war. It's like, no, it's just one country. Like, it's not. A proxy fell. Oh, that is true. Shit, didn't think about that.
They're saying we shouldn't be supporting Ukraine and the whole.
Do you guys want to comment on anything?
Yes.
It's not a proxy war.
It's not a
You should
proxy
read
war.
what
Get
that is.
fucked.
Okay, what do you think of the idea that the Russo-Ukrainian war is a proxy war?
Proxy war is when two major powers they don't participate in the conflict. If Poland was sponsoring us and we were fighting with Belarus, who was sponsored by Russia, that would be a proxy war. Russia partakes in this war.
Syrian civil war is a proxy war.
Well, he is again removing Vietnam.
Yeah, like when we were sponsoring the Mujahideen, who were freedom fighters. Well, I don't really know, against Russian-backed, the Russian-backed government. So that is a proxy war.
And Afghanistan were proxy wars. Korea was a proxy.
We're all proxies of each other. Everything's a proxy war. We're having a proxy conversation right now.
Anyone who's saying that it's a proxy war doesn't recognize us as a nation. Right?
And Russia, by the way,
It completely ignores Ukrainian sovereignty.
Who is their proxy?
Oh, China.
Multipolar war for Hassan. Any war is proxy war.
I know one guy using the word
You know what? It's a proxy war with Australia and the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's actually what the real proxy war is. I don't know why you don't see it, but that's what every conflict has been.
Polar world every time he speaks. Do you know that guy?
Well,
his name is Putin.
Yeah, he does talk about that. Yeah, that's true.
I do want to ask because he says he brought up that idea of it prolonging. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say on that?
He hides, by the way, his power level when he talks with Ethan quite a lot. You can see the difference when he talks on his own stream and when he talks with him. He even lets a round.
He gets pushback.
Yeah, a round of applause for Hassan right there. He actually first time in his life said what Ukrainians seem to want. He added there.
Ukrainian people.
Yeah, but he did mention.
Yeah, the concept of multipolarity, I still don't think is like a bad thing, but it's just too much of a talking point that it's not really what. Like it's not really what they say. You know what I mean?
The want of Ukrainian people for once. Thank you, Hassan. Good job.
I'm not clapping.
What
would you say?
Sorry? Yeah. I'll end after I finish the video. I've just been pausing a lot. I'm criticizing Hassan, so you know.
He talked about, for example, he brought this up, that he's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Ukrainian refugees.
You can't criticize him. He raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Ukrainian refugees. No criticism. He used the card, the charity shield. Or I'll draw like a little picture. He used the most powerful card, the charity shield card. He slapped that shit on.
I think that's good, but it's not a shield for you to hide behind every time that you're being pushed on life.
Do you think that's how he was using it?
No, I have the card. It's a shield. You can't hurt me if I do a charity thing.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that is like Hassan is probably the biggest like perpetrator of like hiding behind the charity shield. Yet Mike from PA, the proud member of multiple L's, or owner, sorry, not member, owner of multiple L's, has the gall to say that that's what Vosh does. And completely blind spot for Hassan. I wonder why. Far-right imperialist who has been pushing for Russia to be more brutal. What? Just so you know, the origin, a reference to this book by the modern of the Shield. What do you mean? Oh, multipolar world. Gotcha. Only got a 3.61. Gotcha. I do think I'm kind of moving off of the idea of that being like good. Because what you're saying, right? Exactly, because of this. I didn't read that until just now, but like that's exactly what I was gonna say. Where it's like if those polls are gonna be like those type of countries, but I do think that like American hegemony, like not the best, but we definitely aren't the best country. So could be much worse. Obviously, we have the most fucking freedom of any country in the world, in my personal opinion. We have problems, we need to fix them, but we still are pretty fucking based. America.
Yes, exactly. He was using it to counter.
No. You mean like did he?
Was that how it was hit? Is that how he when he brought it up?
Yes.
Was he using it to defend criticism?
Yeah. No, I think he's helped to the
Our rooms are significantly less echoey too.
refugees. I think was genuine. At least I don't have any reasons to doubt it. But he brought it up here to counter that Ethan brought up that many people accused him of being like anti-Ukraine, basically. Yeah. So he said, no,
I don't know if he did it as a shield, like the donations.
Yeah, I think democracy should be like a very large factor of what is a good, poll. As like just like a good like standard for that. Because I don't know, call me too American, but I love them freedoms.
So in the future he could use it. I can't speak into his mind. In this conversation he used it.
And not to mention refugees specifically. He always says like refugees helping people. You know what the best way to help Ukrainian refugees and Ukrainian people? Stop military aid. Stop our country from fucking falling apart because of Russia tries to do it. That's the help you need to get.
The thing is,
no, I think it could be both. I mean, I do think he genuinely did care, but like I mean. There could be multiple motivations for doing something like that. I don't think that we're talking like I'm a consequentialist when it comes to this type of stuff. Where it's like if it has good outcomes, I like that it has good outcomes. Love that, pretty pog. And when we talk about his motivations, I don't really, for one, I don't care like what his motivations are. If he did a good thing, he did a good thing. Like go off, King. Like the same. What's funny is he wouldn't subscribe that ideology. Like he wouldn't say the same thing like as we saw him talk about like, oh well, it's like helping the military industrial complex or whatever, so it's like bad to give like aid to Ukraine. Like he wouldn't have the same thing for his own like charity. Like if somebody were to like say like, would he be consistent about it? Like if somebody did charity for a bad purpose, like it doesn't mean it's inherently bad. It's just a different factor of it. Yeah, it's weird that he refers to it like that. I mean, it is the charity shield, the strongest of all cards.
If US and the world will stop sending us military aid, we won't stop fighting. It doesn't mean that we will be negotiating.
He's implying America should only help like refugees,
humanitarian
aid, never lethal aid, because weapons prolong.
Because people like him say that lethal aid prolongs the conflict, it brings violence.
No, it makes it shorter. More weapons.
The shorter the war for us, the better.
If we had all the weapons we have right now before Russia attacked, do you think it would even happen?
That would be better.
Right. It's like, why don't you die faster so the war ends and just die faster.
And the whole thing.
Yeah,
Russia should just take Ukraine. And
I can't speak for other. I can't speak for other leftists. I don't know what the fuck they say, but plenty of those people also despise me and say that I'm like not pushing Z or whatever. So it doesn't fucking matter.
I thought I heard Richard Wolff have some kind of.
Oh my god, he's like, he's on the checklist. It's like the thing that he jokes about, the NPC checklist of, oh, let's see which one's gonna work on this person. will do the appeal to authority. Ethan masterfully circumvents it with like for when this isn't like a fair fight that you could like have with him, like because Ethan is clouded the fuck up, obviously, and so is Hassan. So they're on like actually like a normal level. So if you're like a normal person talking to Hassan, you can't have. He's never gonna have this type of conversation. He's just gonna call you a fucking genocidal asshole or something, and then like walk away. But like that's where kind of we're at with this like duel here. Like this is a duel of people who are of, you know, at least on the same level. Like their power level is the same. Yeah, I'm gonna call you because he's not gonna say anything bad about Ethan. He won't do that. So that being said, he's gonna run the gambit of the other tricks that he has to do. That being, he's going to try and do an appeal to authority because Ethan has said like he doesn't really know that much about it, and he tried to pull the I'm gonna name drop somebody, as we saw earlier, and Ethan didn't engage with that. He just kind of let him talk, and then he's now gonna do the. This is the thing is this actually does work on Ethan quite a bit. It's the sympathy card. The sympathy card. We saw that in. Do you mind? What? You guys are making the crazy.
Your little tail wag. Oh, look at your little tail wag. Oh, you wanna play? Ow. We're playing a little bit.
God, she's so fucking cute. Anyways, but the sympathy card, which we saw him do like with the when you know a few weeks after this when we watched that video of Ethan Hassan, the last leftovers video, where the sympathy card does work. One enchantment at the start of each turn, each player loses 1 life, and a charity counter is added to the charity shield for each life lost this way. Sacrifice charity shield to counter target spell or ability that targets you with a converted mana cost less than the number of charity counters on the charity shield.
Like that.
I can't speak on Ritual Wolf either. There's disagreements that I have with Ritual Wolf.
Well, I would have to say the charity shield, unless you have a charity shield in your deck, then you get the -1 or whatever. Like you have to have the aspect of having the charity shield punish other people.
Wolf, you had
okay, so you're down with what's happening. Down with what's
I'm not down with what's happening in Ukraine because I want the bloodshed to end, and the only way to do that is by bringing China to the table, bringing America to the table, the real actors here.
Do you have my nail clippers? You just let your nails grow out? Oh.
Ukraine should make some secessions to Russia.
I think the original.
I heard someone say the real actors here. Was that something that?
Yes, that's the talk of imperialist.
What do you think the idea? Wait, what do you think of the idea that America and China are the real actors in this situation?
Multipolar person.
Can somebody explain why they don't like that terminology?
Because he makes a claim that we should bring China, we should bring Russia and America to the table. Real players. Ukraine.
Who decide? Who really decide?
Yeah, Ukraine by that logic is not a real player. What are we even? I don't even know. That's what they say.
I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sorry these Ukrainians don't understand this, but they're actually not a real country. I've never heard of Ukraine being a real country. So, yeah, we have to have the real actors.
Maybe that thinking is going to change when Russia's going to lose.
Probably. Who knows? Yeah.
Let's see.
6-point plan that was a continuation of the Minsk Accords that were tried twice and failed twice would be.
Let's do it again then. Round 3, baby.
Be a far preferable situation than like endless blood.
It didn't work the first 2 times. Let's learn.
Shit over, inches of territory where, people are being fucking slaughtered.
I don't think the Ukrainians would describe it as inches of territory.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, you're saying they're fighting over inches of territory. I don't.
It's just saying in the context of how stagnated the war has become. Like the back and forth is pretty
To be
much.
fair to Dan and all of this, he's the producer. He's just trying to be devil's advocate for the most part.
Ground to a halt at this point, and it's
This
just,
is what I
it's
mean. It's like a
bloodbath.
very
Yeah, they don't like learning. It's like the opposite of their ideology.
cynical interpretation of what I'm trying to say. It is inches of territory physically when we speak about it.
But
Yeah, but like he's talking about how the Ukrainians would say it. Like, what the fuck?
I guess I think Ukrainian people get angry when they hear you talk about it because they.
That's understandable. I mean,
they
I get
feel
it.
like you're
pretty stupid.
You're.
They want full-throated support. They want and expect full-throated support, right?
They understandably want that, and they want more than that. They also wanted Article 5. They wanted full NATO protections and
Yes.
NATO nation.
And that is bad? What is the issue with full NATO protections? Again, that's another tactic. We gotta start writing this shit down for the Hassan bingo. But like another tactic of like saying something that's legitimate and then just like saying it kind of quickly and then moving on. Like moving on really quickly, like saying be like, okay, so why is that bad? Like, yeah, they want that, and then moving on.
They don't like that you say that they should secede territory to a fascist invasion.
It's not even secession of territory. It's like prior agreements that neither party has held on to. The real Ukrainian.
I'm sorry, we had prior agreements before Minsk.
That's false equivalence.
I did want to bring up quickly. He proposes as an alternative to continuing sending military aid to try to push the Russians out of the country with force.
With the real players.
a Minsk
That is true. America led, and America is bad. No, America good. We do America good. I gotta make an America good emote. Like, we really need that. I have a lot of slots that I've been very lazy on not fulfilling on the emotes, so sorry. I think we need to do an America good emote. If anyone has any ideas on what that would look like, I'm thinking like an American flag, and then like just like having America good under it. A little basic, but I don't know if anyone has anything more interesting. Because we need more America good emotes. I really want to lean into the America good shit more because I think a lot of leftists, I'm gonna get some heat for this probably, but I think a lot of lefties like do have this like America bad ideology, and America does suck in a lot of ways, but America's still good if we're talking about foreign policy shit, you know what I mean?
Great. So, like you guys already know, Minsk 1 and 2 was an attempted negotiation between the Russians and the Ukrainians to try to find some peaceful
Biden in front of the flag. I feel like I want it just to be like the concept of America. I like where you're going with that though.
solution for the Russian invasion after 2014.
What would you think of a Minsk 3 agreement that the Russians will definitely do? I believe it. 100%.
Both failed.
It was demands from Russia.
Yeah.
He is saying now it should be there should be a third Minsk version of that, a third attempt at that. What do you guys think of that?
Well, you failed 2 times. Let's fail
I
a
like
third
how
time.
he's referring to agreements where it obviously benefited Russia more.
Yeah, it was coercion.
Well, it doesn't really make sense because you're talking like the Uncle Sam, like the I want you, but like America good. That's actually a funny idea. Hold on, I'll write that down. We'll look into some stuff. Let's just like draw like what it would be. I don't know. At beard and big cartoonish thumbs up. Like this. Hold on. He's doing a thumbs up. I don't know if you can tell. I kind of drew him as a Dos Equis guy, and I don't know why I did that. He's doing a thumbs up. Kind of doing like the Dos Equis, coolest man you've ever seen or whatever meme.
As the agreements that we should stick to.
I mean, when people have, I guess we could do an America bad one. We'd have to like, I don't know, like inverse the colors of the American flag or something. We have to have an America good and an America bad. All right, I think we have a few options open. Plus, I'm not like super happy with the ones that we do have. The ban that guy emote I thought was really funny, but it's not really used that often, and it's not that great. So I'm okay with replacing it. We'll have to look into this.
Rather than the agreements that we had decades before that was fair on all accounts.
I'm not sure that he knows that.
And Hollande, the Prime Minister of France, who, by the way, wrote an amazing...
Wait, we'd have to make it Soviet. Like, you'd have to be like America bad, but like... Maybe it'd be like the sickle, the hammer and sickle would be like destroying the flag or something. Because it's like obviously like a tanky talking point. I don't know. We'll think about this.
Amazing memoir of negotiations.
Hold on, I'll make a channel in Discord if you guys want to join the Discord to get your ideas. I'll make a channel right now that you can submit emote. I can spell right. Emotes. Ideas. Right, I just made a channel called Emotes Ideas. I think everyone should have access to it. Yeah, so it's in the Discord. Feel free to add your ideas to it. We'll work on it. I know I've been very lax, or not lax, that's not the right word. I've been very lazy about my emotes. You can, if you want to just like kind of like do like your channel to do with. It's there. I'll look at it.
In Minsk, you have to read that.
Use AI art or something, I don't know.
He described the behavior of Putin and Poroshenko, how they fought all night, how Putin refused to acknowledge the truth that Russian troops are in Ukraine, and that's the biggest part of that we were forced to finally sign that agreement, which doesn't recognize Russian forces in Ukraine, but agreement was signed by Russia for some reason. And then they were like, we're not in Ukraine, so we can't do anything. You have to talk to the...
third parties, DPR, LPR, people.
Yeah, actual republics, they are, who didn't have any agency. And he said that both parties, Ukraine and Russia, broke the Minsk Accords. Okay, when you are shot with shrapnel, with artillery, with grads, rockets, and all of that on the military position, you have to retaliate, shoot back from the position you just found out the shots were shot from. Otherwise,
yeah, because if you don't, they're going to keep just doing it.
Counter battery fire.
Counter battery fire is like, it should be done because...
yeah, like what's going to stop them from continuing to do it? It's like, what are you going to just like sit there and just like die?
What you're saying is basically Russia broke agreements as well.
Russia broke agreements, we retaliated, and he's like, oh, both are equally bad.
This will be fucking breaking into your house and like, are you going to not defend yourself or like you're just going to die?
Okay.
Yeah, assuming they're trying to kill you, obviously.
For the both sides thing, I do have one more.
Wait, just about the thing that Ivan said. This is like this. When this main thing about the Minsk thing that didn't work out was the fact that one of the main points was, just as you said, to remove foreign formations, foreign armies from our territory. And Russia did not only they didn't do it, obviously, they at the time said that there are no Russians there. Just as they did, just as it lied, Hassan. Moment. He's a little liar, dude.
This guy like remind you of Dylan for some reason?
Yeah.
He was a weaselly little liar.
Yeah, like you see
He doesn't necessarily look like him, but
yeah, he like gives me like a weird like it reminds me of Dylan.
Because he said, but there was nobody in Crimea, Russian. They were, we know that now. There was no people in Donbass.
That's the liar. Fucking Hassan is the liar.
By the way, Utkin was in Donbass, Girkin was in Donbass, Russian military personnel.
He was even saying, he was recalling how they were forcing people to vote during referendum in Crimea under the barrel of the gun, which he was holding.
He might be looking something up, I'm just joking.
Putin himself afterwards, of course, said that there were indeed Russian troops there. But but Hassan plays it up as this, we are equal in this regard. Why? Yeah, it's just it's both-sided and make it seem like both sides, he even says this, I think, both sides are shelling each other.
So this is the last clip. This is from the same podcast we were just watching.
Ghosts! Oh my god, that's so spooky.
This is him talking specifically around Minsk and why it failed. And
oh my god, who's this spooky person in the background here? What the fuck?
War in the Donbass.
How did Ukraine violate their agreement?
There was mass shelling on both sides, like back and forth shelling. No, back and forth shelling that has been happening since 2004.
Okay.
With 13 or 14,000 people dying.
Okay, so
in totality. So that is. So at the time, there was a agreement called the Minsk Agreement. There were two versions of this, which neither side agreed upon, which meant that...
See, it's kind of weird that... This is actually kind of like a five-head debate tactic from Ethan, where I've seen Vosh do it, but I don't think as successfully, where he really, like, he's like acting like he doesn't know, but he's kind of like coming off like he's hiding his power level with his actual knowledge. And I think that's making Hassan feel nervous. I don't know, maybe I'm just seeing things, but like, I feel like that's kind of what's happening here, where he kind of proved earlier in the conversation he knows more than he lets on. And I think that Hassan's like, oh my god, I don't know how much he actually knows. So, but he's acting like he doesn't know anything. So what can I get away with? Especially when you know the answer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's doing that. The drunken master at debates. That's correct. Yes, I would agree with that. I think that Ethan's really fucking good at debates. Obviously, it's been a process. And I think one of the big things about that is comedians. Comedians know how to structure a joke, right? They're funny people. I think that comedians are incredibly good at actually doing debates. And my reasoning for that is because they're able to understand how to take somebody through with like your jokes. Like if you're talking about like, he's not like a stand-up comedian, but you know what I mean? The whole concept of like comedy is like understanding how people are going to react to things, how you can kind of like, you know, gauge the reactions, especially with what he does with podcasting and like interviewing. Like you can guide people. You learn those skills of being able to guide people in a certain way. Usually for comedy, but that skill I think very much crosses over into being able to do that in a debate. I think it's a really, really good basis if you're gonna like you know, get into. I think that you are going to be better off if you have like a background in like comedy than like the average person, because of the factors that are at play when it comes to comedy. You need to know how people are going to think. You're going to need to know how to take people on this like journey. If you're going to do like a longer joke, you're going to know how it plays to an audience too. And you're going to know the insecurities of the people that you're talking to. These are all like amazing like debate traits. And I think that's something that, like, he's realizing that he's really fucking good at being able to use those skills to make the same skills that you make people laugh means that you can make people either say something that makes him look like a fool, or to get your point across. Like, I don't want to make it seem like he's trying to, like, trick anybody. I think that he's actually being very genuine with his debate tactics, but it's like, the fact that he has those skills is so crazy. And he's also disarming. You have to be very likable in debates. Being likable is, like, a huge part of debates as well. Being funny is really, is really important for a debate. Especially because you're not debating the other person to try and change their opinion generally. You're doing it for the audience. So that also is an aspect. I'm rambling a little bit about this because I'm just trying to off the cuff talk about it. But like I really do, and I've said it like a million times. Like, yeah, you can. I think all of the skills that you have within comedy, like if you're good at comedy, you're probably going to be able to be good at debates. And I'll leave it at that.
That LPR and DPR would still remain as a agreement called the Minsk Agreement. There were two versions of this, which neither side agreed upon, which meant that LPR and DPR would still remain under Ukraine, but would have autonomy, okay? And Ukraine understandably did not want this because that would mean...
Wait, what is LPR and DPR? What, like the Luhansk and Donetsk regions? Is that... That's another thing on the checklist. Fuck, we should write this shit down. That's another thing on the Hassan checklist where I think he does, like, he'll also do this thing where he'll abbreviate stuff, and it's kind of in the same vein earlier of, like, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I feel like this is, like, a weirdly intentionally weaselly tactic or something. Because why doesn't he just call it Luhansk and, Donetsk? He abbreviated it. It's like abbreviations for the sake of like confusion. Like, again, he's doing the thing where he hopes that you just don't know what he's talking about. Hold on. We're gonna start writing this shit down. Thing Shin Bet all the time about Israel. What? Ah! Door handle fell off again. Fine, don't worry about it.
That Russia would have an outsized control on Ukrainian affairs and Ukrainian politics, which it already did through Russian loyalist leadership that they had. That was obviously squashed because there's always been this back and forth between.
Oh my god! Also, his like fucking filibustering. It's so annoying. I spell filibustering. Is it with a PH or an F? Filibust. What's with an F? Okay. Here, I'm gonna start writing notes of the shit that I'm noticing. That's like one of his fucking favorite things to do.
Western influence in Ukraine, wanting to move them into the Western sphere of influence, and Eastern influence, Russian influence in Ukraine, which wanted to maintain Ukraine's status.
No, I don't think that's fair. I mean, I understand giving him the benefit of the doubt, but like I've never heard anyone use that abbreviation. I don't think he would use that abbreviation. Like, I don't think it's even that useful. Like, who gives a shit about just say Luhansk or Donetsk? Like, if you're trying to communicate things, like, it's like intentional obfuscation, in my opinion. But I mean, I guess if you're being charitable, it's fair. But like, okay, I disagree with that. But if you're gonna be charitable, that's fair.
Status and wanted to change Ukrainian affairs.
Okay, so they were both attacking each other, and you think the attacks were equally provocative? And again, I don't know anything about it.
I think that this was another instance of proxy war, 100%.
Okay.
Ugh.
Like, there are people who wanted to be a part of Russia, and at the end of the day, though, like the reaction from the Ukrainian government to that was understandable. They wanted to protect their own interests. They wanted to protect their own borders. They wanted to protect
he also like say, "Oh, it's understandable," and then like he tone shifts
their hegemony and national security interests.
Let's go.
I don't understand. If people want to be part of Russia, they can go to Russia. We don't want to be like part
Good point.
of Poland or part of Germany. We want to be Ukraine, and we want to live like our neighbors in the Europe. And
So
Yeah, like if a bunch of Americans wanted to all of a sudden be like Mexico or something, it's like I don't give a fuck. Go to Mexico then. This is our country. It's where it's at. Fuck off.
First thing I wanted to ask about was his shelling on both sides in reference to why the Minsk
Is a documentary now. Resist colonizers. I love that you made your account like a few days ago. What do you think Resist Colonizers got going on? This is gonna be good. I don't have a lot of time. Let's see what else he says.
course failed. How would you guys?
I'm saying that what Dylan did was a documentary, you fucking retard. What do you think of a characterization of the failure of the Minsk II agreement as being the result of shelling and on both sides?
Reacts to that
comment. It's a Russian.
Russian narrative, pretty much. Yeah.
It is a Russian like book, you know. It's like there are 8 years of bombing of Donbass children, you know. It's.
I think the agreements were not upheld. I feel like it's very difficult, especially in that region during that time, to determine who did it first. We can only
we know who invaded first. That we know, which he doesn't mention.
We can only guess who broke them first, especially if Russia was saying that their troops weren't even there. So
in this situation, you have to give perspective when you talk about. You have to mention the invader, who is the invader, who did the first, who attacked first, who broke the.
Oh, is that what they're saying? That's even worse than I was interpreting it as. I thought he was calling me a React Andy. That's... yeah. Is this person gonna respond? I think they're gonna have some really cute shit that they're gonna say.
Legitimate borders first, who annexed territory. You have to mention that our actions are retaliation, not to mention the fact that Minsk, as you said, was forced upon us by both Russia and the West. It was a diplomatic, so to speak, solution to the problem that cannot be resolved diplomatically, because we're dealing with actor Russia, that is a fascist country hell-bent on imperialist expansion, and that does not keep its word on anything. So how do you negotiate with people like that? You can only negotiate with people who uphold the negotiations.
And what is the mass shelling on the best side? What did we mass shell?
He makes appeals. He talked about it in previous clips. I can mention.
Does
he basically makes appeals to this 14,000 number. All Latniks do. It's
the 14,000. It's like every casualty.
Yeah, it's Russian forces. It's separatist forces. It's Ukrainian armed forces. They sometimes make a claim that 14,000 is civilians killed by
Ukraine. I know that. They do that.
Yeah, they do that. And in Gravel video, pretty much things like that happen. And 3-something thousand civilians.
Dude, that person just dropped that shit and then left. I'm so sad. I thought they were gonna say some psychotic shit. I was here for it. Maybe they're typing a whole paragraph. You know what I'm gonna do? If they do that, I'm just gonna ban them immediately and not read it.
That separatist forces are basically Ukrainians, a lot of them who are forced to fight against our own countrymen, and this is like a huge tragedy that is still happening today. Thousands and thousands of people just grabbed off the street and forced under the barrel of the gun to go.
And imagine that, if you were 10 years old when in 2014, when
they scrambled.
Let's say your father was conscripted. By now, you would be conscripted and sent to war to die to Ukrainians, and you're a Ukrainian child, you know.
And I wanted to ask about at the end. Ethan asked a very interesting question because when they talked about the shell on both sides, he asked, "Was it equally provocative?"
Yes, good question.
Which kind of got to the heart of the issue of
Christopher.
Russia invading and then being shelled after they invaded.
Propaganda, he doesn't think about anything. When you push him beyond his script, he starts saying really funny shit. Yeah, I mean, again, this is something that I've noticed. I'm running to the bathroom really quick. I will be right at the back. my god. Okay, so I just randomly opened Demon Mama's stream while I was in the bathroom, just because, you know, of course you have to do that in the bathroom. You have to open up your phone and look at... You can't possibly have 2 seconds of silence, but I just, like, opened her stream randomly, and she was talking about, Ethan, like, not feeding into the Warhawk stuff. Like, she was literally talking about, like, the H3, Hassan conflict. It's like, oh god, it's everywhere. I just thought it was so funny because it was just like some random, like for like 5 seconds, you know. Ethan's taking dubs left and right on the you know, the sphere, because I mean he is right. For a second, I mean, I'm too autistic. I need the right stimulation all the time, or I can't like have silence. Like it's really hard for me to just like exist when it comes. That sounds like way too dramatic, but like I don't know. I just need like a direct stimulation. So I tend to just always need to like listen to something. Yeah.
The country. And Hassan chose to not answer the question. He and then
Why do you think Hassan was reluctant to answer Ethan's question about whose side was being more provocative in their violation of the Minsk agreement?
Said, well, it's a proxy war. He didn't answer why, if it was provocative, or who was more provocative.
I think it's autism. Just is what it is.
Why do you think he didn't want to answer that question?
Because the answer is not what
Because
he
he
would
didn't
like
have
to
one.
say.
Probably he doesn't know anything about
He
it.
didn't have one, so his line is like, oh, both sides.
Or he knows and he just doesn't want to say.
I wouldn't
yeah.
go like so far as to go this stupid. I think this allows him to preserve the narrative, basically.
Yeah.
He already stood on this narrative for a year and a half now, and he really needs to both side this to somehow show himself as not a pro-Russian, pro-invasion person.
I really wonder if it is just because of like he's wanting to appeal to the tankies. Because I kind of get that sense where it's like yeah, just like a tanky like appeal. No, but she's on it 100% though.
But also always return like the wheels to the fact that it's somehow America's fault. In this exact video that we will not probably be watching, he basically
okay, I actually think that he might have gotten tanky pilled. Like, I think his ideology always would have correlated with it, but what's called I don't think because it's called that is mean that. I think that which makes me wonder. Do you think Chank's the tanky? Because there's so many tankies that have come out of TYT that I find it hard to believe that he's not. And it's so weird, like, to think about. Yeah, he's just like really fucking good at hiding it. Which would make sense that every single person that comes out of it is a fucking psychotic tanky. One of y'all should try and pretend to be a tanky. Clairville, maybe you could do it. You'd probably be very good at it, because I know you just you know the lines you have to say, right? And you could be like their trans correspondent. Unironically, I think you probably could get hired for that. Not that I don't think you'd be good at the job, but like yeah, you speak comrade. I think you'd be an expert at like talking about like oh my god, I bet you could absolutely get hired. Well, with just like doing the comrade talking points. But I guess maybe it would be too obvious. I think maybe they'd want more like subtle tankyism. I don't know. Oh, that'd be so funny. I guess you'd have to be there in person, right? Dylan Burns is absolutely not tanky. Dylan Burns, I don't really know all of his political prescriptions, but from what I understand, I think he's like a SOCDEM. Which is totally fine. he absolutely is not a tanky. He's very left-leaning, obviously, but I think like he's more of like a Stockton. I don't know if he's a socialist. I'm not. My memory banks aren't. I don't remember if he's talked about it. I mean, all of his principles like align with like, like leftist values, of course. But yeah, like being a Stock Dem is totally fine. Like, you know what I noticed also is that Hassan used to demonize Stock Dems, and I've always like been like, that's kind of fine. If you go into one of these sense deprivation chambers, I'd probably have an existential crisis, or I'd fall asleep, or both. I don't really want to think about that. Why are you doing that to me?
Talks about the nukes, about Ukraine giving away nukes due to Budapest Memorandum Agreements, where Russia and America were both guarantees of our sovereignty, supposedly. And he talks about it and he says Ukraine should not have given up nukes. There's a bunch of like conversation there about that. Yeah. But then he was like, if you don't have nukes, America.
Well, the thing is, I like water, and I think that's like a part of it, right? Like, it's like we're talking about like the water ones because I just like water in general. So I think I'd be okay with that because the stimulation is the water at that point. But if I was just like laying down in like a coffin, I think I'd have an existential crisis about being like dead or something.
Will come and fuck you up in the context of Ukraine and Russia. I apologize, Hassan. Who came and fucked us up because we don't have nukes? I'm pretty sure it ain't Yankees.
Now we've watched well over an hour, maybe an hour and a half we've had about dialogue and review of Hassan talking about the war. Obviously, I've shown you certain clips. This isn't the breadth of everything he's ever said about the conflict.
I feel like you just fall asleep.
But from what you have seen here, knowing that this isn't everything, and there's probably moments where he did sound better, or he might have, had different perspectives that you might have viewed differently. What do you think about what he has said and what you have seen?
What is your overall impression of the clips you've seen, you've been shown of Hassan talking about Ukraine?
Can I start?
Sure.
In the shortest way possible, Hassan is a Russian apologist. He repeats Russian talking points, Russian propaganda, Russian narratives to a lot of audience, a lot of people in his audience. He's the biggest streamer, I presume, political streamer on Twitch at least. And what he does harms Ukraine. It undermines people's support for Ukraine. It's very, very damaging. And he also does not recognize us as a people of, who have will of their own, who have values of their own. He basically repeats imperialist talking points. He only talks about big countries, big players in that, American exceptionalist, if you will. And he only talks about that because he genuinely doesn't care or doesn't understand that other people exist and wars in Europe and Asia existed way before.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of breaking points for people. Like, it is for me. Like, I've always been like, okay, he's good on domestic policy, but he's dog shit at fucking, he's always been dog shit at foreign policy. So it's like kind of been like it's not like it just randomly happened. It's just like, that was the breaking point. At least that's what it was for me. Whereas it's like, I was always like kind of like sus meter a little bit, like when it comes to all this other stuff. And yeah, you can call me a dumbass or whatever for like not noticing it earlier. But again, I was watching him on YouTube. I wasn't watching his streams. I wasn't like sitting in his streams watching everything he said. And they obviously tried to not clip things. This sounds disingenuous. They cut out like those parts that when he did say bad things, because of course that's what his editor should do, right? And it's like, okay, you can't edit out what he said. I mean, more than anything, I think leftovers was the big factor here too. Is him being challenged by somebody equal his size, where he can't just like call them genocidal freaks and like ban them or whatever. And he actually was challenged on his positions, with somebody who is good faith and really wanted to know, like Ethan. And I think like that's one of the big things I think also for me was Ethan's willingness to criticize him. And I think that was obviously a huge factor, but it wasn't just, it was what he said. Like, you can't cut around what he said. Destiny fan all this time. Yeah, I've been watching more Destiny, but like, again, he does have a little derangement when it comes to Hasan, but it's like, I do like that he is very willing to admit when he doesn't know anything about something. Lack of sympathy? Yeah, that was, I can't believe that he didn't understand, like, how that came off. Yeah, I have seen Ethan's recent, I assume this is the clip of...
Listen, I love Hasan. He is not anti-Semitic. He has said stuff that I disagree
Yes, I watched
with,
this.
that I'm voicing my opinion.
We don't have a lot of time, so I'm not gonna watch that today. But, yeah, I did watch that. I watched that, live, actually. And it's just like... No. Again, I am like a H3 super fan, so take that as you will, but like... The reason why I'm an H3 super fan is because, like, he's been very reasonable, you know what I mean? Like, he's been wrong on things, for sure. But, like, he's willing to listen to the audience, he's willing to understand when he doesn't know something, and he's a fucking five-head, like, you know, drunken master, like, debate lord, like, and I like to see a king win, you know? And he's very funny, you know, obviously. And it's so fucked up, the bullshit that he's been having to be subjected to. No, absolutely. I would agree with you, Alex. Absolutely. Yeah, I know. He's really salty because Hasan likes to say that he was the one that originated doing, like, gaming and politics, which obviously that's not true. Destiny was the first person to do that, which Hasan knows and is being like kind of like just a shitty person to him. And I understand his anger. That's totally understandable. I just wish he wouldn't say that. He can have his own personal opinion on shit that Hasan says, but like, I mean, what are you gonna do? I guess, like, what do you don't talk about it? Like, I just wish he would be like a little bit more upfront, because I think a lot of people take Destiny at his word when he says like a bunch of shit about Hasan, where he just like goes like full off on him, and I think he loses his objectivity quite a bit, and I wish he would just be more upfront about it, because of course you can't be objective about something you have such vitriol towards, and that's fine. Just be upfront about it. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like Destiny doesn't exist. That is absolutely true. Which is interesting that I think that he's complimenting Vosh just like despite Destiny, because he knows that Destiny fucking hates Vosh too. Which I don't really know. Well, I guess because they were like part of the same. I mean, I think it's kind of the same thing, right? Like it's like they were like kind of friends, or they came from the community, and he you know, Vosh is very upfront about it. Like, yeah, I stole his old fucking style. Like, of course I did. Or, you know, obviously Hasan would never admit that. But Hasan does not have the other website, so, you know, of course, everything he said is original.
For American states, United States.
Why do you hate Vosh? I don't think, if you like my content, you're not, I don't think you should hate Vosh. Vosh is another derangement Destiny syndrome thing. I think, like, he's so uncharitable to him in, like, such a crazy way.
States existed, and yeah, he's just very either blind or he's straight up doing this on purpose, basically. Yeah, undermining, and also of course he both siding like crazy to reduce accountability of Russia in that sense, and to place blame on another actor, which would be United States.
I would call it a documentary. It's literally documenting the experience of the people. I don't think it's unfair to say that.
States, because
he didn't call it that. I was calling it that. You can disagree with my position on that, but I stand by it.
He has America bad brain rot.
We live in a world where his words directly impact lives of Ukrainians.
True.
And he doesn't contribute anything good. And like because of what he says.
You don't think there's anything he said on Ukraine that has been valuable?
the amount of stuff that he's parroting from Russia is just.
Oh, is he doing like a larger one? Well, sure, we'll watch that too. But like, I mean, I feel like it's a fucking feature length here. It's an hour and a half of like Ukrainians reacting. I think it's fair to say it's a documentary.
To thousands and thousands of people. He just contributes absolute negativity to like our lives.
That's true. We need more nature. We need more B-roll.
Basically, of people in this room. Because if our lives are currently dependent on military support of our country, if we didn't have military support,
I'm actually unironically incredibly, I mean, obviously I'm worried about like everyone here getting killed. But like just Dylan Burns, like, cause I know he goes to like the front lines and all that stuff. And it's like, I think his work is so important and I'm so like emotionally invested in like, I want him to be safe and like, cause I know he's got a lot of stuff in the works and I think his work is really important and he's not been able to produce all the stuff that he's filmed and like I would hate, you know, to not see that in the way that he intended it to, if like he passed, you know, if he was unintentionally killed. I know that's favoritism when it comes to, of course, I don't want anyone being killed in this, but it's like I just, you know, it's a content creator I watch. Like, of course I'm concerned about them because I don't know, you know, the average Ukrainian citizen or fighter, but I know Dylan Burns and I think it's fair to be worried about him.
Us may not have been here.
Yeah, definitely. Should I say?
Yeah.
Okay, so I see a person who actually who is so far from understanding what is happening here and what we are going through, and who actually doesn't think that something like that might happen to him, as I said before. So all those Russian propaganda narratives, he's repeating them, as Anna said, definitely playing for Russia, maybe, who knows, probably unconsciously.
I mean, yeah, the audio is not perfect, but it's like, whatever. I stopped thinking about it after a few minutes.
I cannot judge here, but he definitely works for Russia and harms our situation and
I mean,
our...
it's obviously out of focus too. It's fine. It's whatever. It's enough quality content that it doesn't really bother me.
lives. Maybe not consciously, but something he says actually affects the aid. It could affect the aid because yes, definitely hundreds of thousands of people, as you said, guys, listen to him. And
well, I don't know if anyone ever talks about this, but I think Hassan literally left Turkey because he didn't want to. I think in Turkey you also have to serve, and I think he left specifically because he didn't want to. I don't know if that's true, but my guess is that's not true because I feel like I would have heard that like up and down. But maybe take that into consideration. Yeah, there's an irony to that, right? Because I know Turkey does have right? Or am I wrong on that? Hold on. Let's not just say things. Turkey mandatory military service. Every man in Turkey must be conscripted and registered from first yeah, so yeah, Turkey has mandatory military service. Yeah, and he left to go to college. Also, again, his family was wealthy. You're still Razor said I can finish the video. It's on his. We do date night, so we're kind of on his time.
I actually would propose him to speak to Ukrainians more, to listen to Ukrainians more. Of course, I've heard something that he doesn't probably know that we existed, that he doesn't, yeah, he thinks that we are still part of...
There's like a level of like humor there where she's like, hey Hassan, and then motherfucker didn't watch the video.
Soviet Union, and that we need to be gathered back to that.
Yeah, you have dual citizenship, right? You have to buy off draft here in the Netherlands, so go and... Yeah, I guess like the idea, like, because he's a dual citizen. He's both. He grew up in Turkey, but he is an American citizen because he was born in, I think, New Jersey, which L on his part on that one. Does anyone have that clip of Ethan laughing at him for being born in New Jersey, just for like a little levity? I'm not gonna look it up, but if anyone has it, it'd be funny. But I would imagine that because Ethan was a dual citizen of Israel, and he had, because his Tourette's, which makes sense. Like if you have Tourette's, you don't want somebody with a gun. So he was able to get out of, and obviously a lot of other reasons, but like he was able to get out of the serving in the IDF because of that. Your emails? Did you post it? Why the fuck would I do this? What? What? Why? No, I don't like that. Weird.
Shithole. But we are.
We got about 5 minutes or 4 minutes.
Here, we are Ukrainians. Talk to us if you want to know more about this shit, about our personal experience.
So I just want to ask like a bunch of rapid questions, get you guys quick responses. First off, how does it make you feel to know that he is the largest political streamer in existence?
Disgusting.
And somehow disappointing, to be honest.
That's how I feel. I feel disappointed.
I feel betrayed, yeah, because I used to watch him.
Yeah, it is upsetting because of the just sheer amount of the audience he has. If he was like a little YouTuber, little like streamer, I wouldn't care that much, to be honest. But in his case, he does have genuine influence over people of how they.
No, he's just a small bean. He always says he's just a little small bean. Like, I'm just a dumbass Twitch streamer. I don't have any actual power. Like, fuck off.
Vote of how they think.
Correct,
of
you don't have
how
power,
they
you have
fully
influence.
vote for the politicians.
I mean, they
that
had a
support.
presidential candidate.
Yeah, not to mention like that. Yeah, she would probably.
Literally Marianne Williamson. Like, you're gonna act like you're a small bean when you have Marianne Williamson, the presidential candidate, and your uncle, I guess, as much as that's a thing, you're not a small bean.
Obviously wouldn't win, but still he has a reach, a very big reach to
Right.
people, and because of that he's spreading.
By the way, I gotta end in a few minutes, so if anyone has post ideas, please look them up and put them in the chat.
Either straight up Russian narratives or very old, like colonial, back in the day Russian imperialist talking points, Soviet Union, apologia, all of that is very dangerous, not only to Ukraine, but to other people here as well. Georgia, Moldova,
all the Europe,
and
it's dangerous to all the Europe because the more
Play
prominent
Among Us with AOC.
Russia becomes, and the more evil shit Russia does, the power of far right parties in Europe, everywhere in the world rises because the alternative for Germany is have great support.
Le Pen nearly won.
Le Pen nearly won.
Yeah,
We only got 2 minutes left here.
Yes, Le Pen is a far right freak in France.
So I want to ask one last question, and the last question is, for the people who watch this content, would you say that you would expect them, if they were to just get their opinions on the war from watching Hassan, and a lot of people do get their news, whether it's good or bad, from political streamers, that they would have a good or bad or some other type of understanding of how it would be a good understanding, a bad understanding, something in the middle?
It would be horrendous understanding.
Watch me instead.
I do encourage people to watch. Sorry, Dobson. Dylan, he knows what's up. He knows, he has been there, and he's one of the American people who I genuinely think understand what is going on here, and also cares, which is quite important. And also,
he cares.
So, for example, people like Lonerbox, who is my
Shadow Lonerbox
favorite lefty, and he is very great in covering what Hassan talked, like debunking it, and if anyone from Hassan's audience is actually interested, they could watch Lonerbox's videos and see what's up.
Or they could follow Anna on Twitter.
That's also true.
Or they could watch Rick on YouTube, or they could watch
It's just Rick. It's just Rick on YouTube.
Thompson on Kick.
That's right.
I'd rather die than go to Kick. I'm sorry.
Anything else? We good? Anybody want to say goodbye?
Bye-bye.
Bye guys, thank you for watching.
All right, that was good. I'm glad we watched that. That was validating personally, and also very informative in the idea of what people are thinking there. You know what I mean? And the fact that he, again, the reason why I'm just gonna like to kind of put a bow on this. The fact that I don't know who Rick on YouTube is. I will follow. Like, I'm not gonna look up just Rick, but it was probably at the beginning of the video. If anyone can link it, that'd be great. If you link, I'll definitely. Oh, you found it? Oh, perfect. All right, we'll give him a subby. It's a pretty big channel. Rick the Ukrainian. So shout out to Rick the Ukrainian, of course. We love him. You were on that. Love that. So like the reason why it came up, because apparently Hassan, clearly not watching that video, said that Dylan Burns was disgusting and perverted for making that video, where it was just for Ukrainian people. Granted, they had pretty, similar takes on stuff. Does that really matter? I don't really think so. But he said that it was perverted to parade Ukrainians out like that when they themselves wanted to make that video. And yeah, he's bloodthirsty, I'm sure. He probably said, did he say that? Yeah. Maybe we should just like leave it on that clip. Does it have that clip? Just like just to put a bow on it. It's on, because I really think that we need to kind of bring it all together. I mean, he has the clip on this. Hold on. This is paused. Does anyone have the original Hassan clip? I mean, this is the easiest way I can think of it.
Because some of the talking points.
He called him perverted for.
Of course, have a just cause for emancipation. Not only that, but I've also.
Dylan, you should have recorded that part.
Okay. I want the original clip. Ah! I don't have a lot of time. I got like 15 seconds. All right, whatever. I gotta end. Razor wants to. I hope fuck, but that's what he's wanting to do. Sorry if that made you uncomfortable. I was just making a little jokerino there. What do we have? Do we have somebody to host? Anyone? Anything in mind? Anyone? I'll take anybody to host arenos. No host arenos. You guys hate everybody else on Twitch? Is that what's happening right now? Yeah, no people. Is Dylan Burns on Twitch right now? Perhaps that would be a good resource. Damn, you guys are hating the idea of hosting somebody else. Stream the date. Fuck you. It's so cringe. The Razor doesn't want to be on stream. He said he'll be on stream if I get 1,000 viewers. And what I mean by that is like, that's a joke that we have. Hold on. This is your time, Lupus. Let's see, who do I have? Not a lot of people streaming today, huh? iDubbbz is streaming, I guess. Who is this? Is this somebody I know? This chick is looking at somebody and texting, so I think it's really funny. So I'm gonna raid this person because they clearly don't give a fuck about their content, and I find that really funny. Madison Gordonks. I don't know why I'm following them, but I think it's funny. They have literally like nobody talking in their chat. I really love you all. We will see you tomorrow, probably during the day, around 3, I think. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you tomorrow.